The sky is a dull gray. No paper cranes outside the window. The dark clouds look like twisted, eerie faces. They leer down at the world below. The air carries an unnatural, bone-chilling cold. Small groups of crows perch on bone-white trees. Every now and then, they let out a few chilling cries. A faint, fishy smell hangs over the asphalt road. It's a bit pungent. In a nearby trash can, you can just make out dark red, congealed lumps. And something that looks like pig intestines dangling from the rim. It sways gently in the wind. A building with stark white walls that reeks of disinfectant stands before the 12 people. Above the entrance, the sign reads, "Third Hospital." It fills them with near despair.
The third hospital? No way. Why does it have to be the third hospital?
I want my mom!
Damn it. We actually got picked by the third hospital. I'm just a newbie.
A sense of despair spreads rapidly. 8 men and 4 women all wear different expressions. The one thing they share is the despair and fear in their eyes. Yin Cheng is no exception. He had just gotten home from his grueling 9-to-9 job, feeling utterly drained. The horror game, an unknown entity that brings despair, death, and panic to the world. Regardless of age or circumstance, everyone has a high chance of being dragged into the horror game, no exceptions. Ghosts, zombies, vengeful spirits, jiangshi, vampires, every terrifying monster humanity once only saw in movies and books exists here in the flesh. One wrong move, and a human's fragile life can vanish in the blink of an eye. To survive, one must follow the horror game's rules and complete its missions. Only then is there a chance to return to the world. At the main entrance of the third hospital, a nurse in a uniform with a curvaceous figure and a bewitchingly beautiful face steps out, her expression cold and blank. In her hand, she holds a small notebook. She seems to be checking the head count. The moment the 12 see the nurse, a single thought flashes through their minds, a stunning beauty. Of course, it would be even more perfect if her snow-white nurse's uniform weren't stained with dark red marks that give off a faint smell of blood. Even so, she looks just like a supermodel nurse from a certain silent city, radiating a strange, alluring charm.
Game start. Current instance. Third Hospital. Mission details. The Third Hospital from the horror world has an excellent reputation among ghosts and monsters. Countless ailments suffered by spirits can usually be effectively treated here. However, recently, something seems to have gone wrong inside the Third Hospital. This has led to a severe staff shortage. They have no choice but to seek help from the outside world. Dear game participants, please cooperate with the Third Hospital, and the staff roles reasonably assigned to you. After 1 week, those without negative evaluations may return to the human world. A friendly reminder, the busy Third Hospital needs diligent employees. Watch less, do more. It helps your chances of survival. The basic rewards for this round will be distributed upon completion, in the ears of the 12 game participants.
The voice from the horror game gradually faded. Yet, in Yin Cheng's mind, another voice rang out, one that only he could hear.
Lucky player, Yin Cheng. Scanning complete. You possess a special talent, Lure of the Dead. Any ghost or monster in the horror world will, due to your charm, have their initial favorability raised to neutral. Favorability will change based on circumstances. As the sole lucky player in this game, congratulations, you have received 1 use of the extra talent draw wheel. Uses remaining. 1. Use it now.
The voice in his mind first caused Yin Cheng a moment of surprise, which then turned into boundless joy. Never mind what Lure of the Dead that weird talent even is, making him think of some strange things. Just the extra talent draw wheel alone was enough to give him a survival chance far greater than others. The horror world's arrival was long ago. People have gradually figured out some of its rules and survival methods for certain games. Some people even use the power gained in the horror world to thrive back in the human world. Talents are the most special and rarest of them all. Out of 10,000 game participants, if 2 or 3 awaken a talent, that's considered very good. And it depends on the talent's nature, whether it's practical or not. Yin Cheng's Lure of the Dead ensures any ghost seeing him for the first time won't feel hostility, maintaining a neutral state. If this got out, he'd probably instantly top the human world's talent rankings. The horror world, a world filled with ghosts, evil spirits, and all sorts of twisted creatures. Humans, radiating life and vitality, are beings they naturally despise and hate, seeing them as food. Just as humans view livestock, there's no difference. This truth was summarized with blood by countless pioneers who survived the horror games. Draw an extra talent. Yin Cheng didn't dare hesitate. He immediately thought to himself. The next moment, a massive wheel appeared before his eyes, as huge as a Ferris wheel, illusory, visible only to him. The wheel began to turn slowly. Countless sections on it emitted various glows. Some were dim, some were bright. Others seemed capable of pulling one's soul inside. The speed of the wheel's rotation seemed to tug at Yin Cheng's heart. He felt his heart pounding as if about to leap from his chest. His eyes were fixed dead on the illusory roulette wheel, revealing an expression of intense longing. In his heart, he was also praying incessantly. However, only Yin Cheng himself could see the roulette wheel. This led to a problem. His gaze looked exactly like he was staring intently at that graceful, voluptuous and mature older sister nurse not far in front of him. At the same time, the expressionless older sister nurse frowned slightly. The slight shred of favorable impression she originally held for Yin Cheng in her heart instantly plummeted to freezing point. And, clicking her high heels, she stepped closer and closer towards him. Click. The roulette wheel spin slowed down further, emitting a sound only Yin Cheng could hear. It perfectly overlapped with the older sister nurse's icy high-heeled footsteps. His eyes, fully focused and fixed on the roulette wheel, grew increasingly fervent and intense. The older sister nurse's pale, bloodless cheeks also grew colder and stiffer. Around Yin Cheng, the other game participants now subconsciously moved away from where he stood. The strange thoughts in their hearts actually diluted the originally terrifying atmosphere quite a bit. Several male participants even secretly gave Yin Cheng a thumbs up in their minds.
What a guy.
At the entrance of the third hospital, with its 100% mortality rate, to stare at the older sister nurse with that kind of look without blinking.
That nurse is indeed captivating and soul-stealing, extremely alluring. But no matter what, she's also a deadly ghost. No matter how much you like the uniform, or like that stuff, you gotta read the room.
Someone letting lust cloud your judgment to this extent is truly beyond saving. Just bury him.
Yin Cheng was completely unaware that danger was closing in step by step, because at this moment he was already completely filled with joy. On the massive, Ferris wheel-like roulette, the pointer landed precisely on an area that was almost imperceptibly small. Congratulations, lucky player Yin Cheng. You have obtained the divine unique talent, Eye of Insight. Eye of Insight, a fearsome talent that allows you to see through ghosts and humans within your sight, and obtain information about them. All things have unique preferences and weaknesses. Perceive them, and use them. Ghost realms, wandering spirit, evil ghost, vengeful spirit, scarlet vengeful spirit, bloody garment, fierce ghost, unspeakable malicious god.
Human. You seem very interested in me.
A smooth, mature female voice pulled Yin Cheng back from his excitement to reality. In front of him, less than half a meter away, stood the tall, graceful, and curvaceous older sister nurse. In her hand, she now held an extremely sharp scalpel. Between her slender, pale fingers, it spun with incredible dexterity. Yin Cheng only felt the air around him grow increasingly chilly. Killing intent. Danger. His sharp senses immediately made him realize what kind of situation he was in. His gaze just now had been far too intense, to the point of causing this older sister nurse from the third hospital to develop some very unfortunate misunderstandings. The older sister nurse's patience didn't seem to be very good. Seeing Yin Cheng still standing there dazed, not answering her question, the icy scalpel gradually rose, moving closer to Yin Cheng's cheek. Facing this kind of situation for the first time, Yin Cheng felt cold sweat dripping from his forehead. Yet, his thoughts were clearer than ever before. Eyes of Insight. His god-tier unique talent was immediately put to use. Instantly, data appeared before Yin Cheng's eyes, data that only he could see. Third hospital nurse Lena race, wraith friendliness, murderous intent, all because of your intense gaze. It has completely erased the slight goodwill she originally had for you. Likes, passionate about studying medical arts. Aspires to become a revered, famous doctor within the horror world. Therefore, respects and honors physicians with superb medical skills. Weakness. Her shapely, slender legs are her proudest assets. But they are also her most vulnerable spots. Different methods of attack will yield different effects. Current status, experiencing the annual special period that only a very few female ghosts have. Hence, irritable mood, easily angered and agitated. Not a major issue, but the so-called medical arts in this bizarre world clearly cannot resolve it. Solution: take underworld spring water mixed with 10-year-old Lycoris radiata, simmer over low heat until it becomes mild and sweet, can alleviate current symptoms. He had no time to marvel at the powerful functions of his god-tier talent, nor at the feedback information, which contained some rather odd little hints. Because the female ghost nurse's scalpel was already pressed against his cheek. Its icy cold touch made his hair stand on end.
It seems you're unwilling to answer my question.
The mature nurse's gentle voice was very pleasant, but to everyone's ears, it felt piercingly cold. The other players had already closed their eyes, unwilling to witness Yin Cheng's impending miserable fate. But just then, something no one expected happened. Yin Cheng's equally long hand with audacious boldness directly grabbed the arm that held the scalpel to his face. Ice cold, smooth and delicate. Must be very comfortable in summer. That was his first thought. The mature nurse also seemed momentarily stunned by Yin Cheng's audacity. She didn't immediately dismember the human before her into minced meat. Seizing the brief moment he had bought, Yin Cheng quickly changed his grip on her hand.
Into a pulse-checking gesture, like an old Chinese doctor. Beautiful lady, no one could be uninterested in someone as perfect as you. I am no exception.
His opening line was first to offer flattery. He had reason to believe that even a female ghost would certainly care about her own appearance. Sure enough, under the eyes of Insight, Lena's friendliness immediately underwent a subtle change. From murderous intent, it shifted to a state of hostility. Although it was just a small change, it was enough to confirm Yin Cheng's conjecture. Flattery may be transparent, but it never fails. It really is universally useful everywhere.
If this is your final words, then you may proceed on your way.
The mature nurse remained expressionless. A chilling ghostly aura spread, filling everyone with immense fear. They were terrified the female ghost might go berserk and implicate them.
No, of course, that's not all. As a physician with professional ethics, what I'm more focused on is your medical condition, ma'am. My apologies if my gaze was a bit too intense. It led to an unfortunate misunderstanding, but I hope you'll understand. This is my first time in the horror world, and I, for one, am incredibly fascinated by the ailments manifested by non-human entities.
Yin Cheng put on the act of a medical fanatic, feigning a mesmerized look toward Third Hospital.
I'm so fortunate that my first stop in this world is Third Hospital. This place is practically my dream paradise. Only here can I continue to shine my light and warmth as a physician in this world.
As his words fell, the scalpel pressed against his cheek didn't withdraw. But Yin Cheng clearly sensed that the female ghost Lena's gaze had softened just a tiny bit, though her hostility remained unchanged, perhaps because she didn't fully trust him yet.
Oh? You're a physician?
Of course.
Having long navigated the 996 grind, acting skills were something he never lacked. He answered decisively and confidently.
Do you know what happens to those who lie to me?
I don't. But I never lie.
Yin Cheng wore the expression of an honest, good man.
Good.
Lena broke into a smile, radiating a captivating charm, making one almost forget she was a female ghost.
Since you're a physician and mentioned my condition, why don't you tell me what's wrong with me? You'd better think carefully before you speak. If you're wrong, then whether you lied or not won't matter, because Third Hospital has no use for quacks.
Lena's agile tongue glided over her two sharp little fangs. Behind that smile lurked a deadly intent.
No need to think. I've already confirmed your minor ailment through pulse diagnosis.
Yin Cheng was brimming with confidence, casually releasing Lena's cold, smooth wrist. Then he shifted gears.
However, fair lady, are you sure you want me to say it out loud here?
Lena's expression instantly shifted subtly. She knew her own situation all too well. How could she not be clear about it? Every year around this time, that irritable feeling made her particularly miserable. And she could find no way to resolve it. Those ghost doctors were quite adept at treating major issues, like missing limbs, eye, or heart replacements. Even head transplants. But when it came to her special condition, the difficulty of discussing it was one thing. The ghost doctors had no expertise in this area either.
You lot. Wait for me at the hospital entrance.
Of course, the other players lacked Yin Cheng's audacity. They obediently headed for the hospital entrance. After putting some distance between them, and ensuring the players couldn't easily overhear, Lena finally signaled Yin Cheng with a look. He could speak now.
Ahem.
Yin Cheng cleared his throat and solemnly uttered a single phrase.
Irregular menstruation. To be precise, it should be called irregular times, yearly times menstruation. That's more accurate.
On Lena's pale, bloodless face, a rare flush of color briefly appeared and vanished. She wasn't shocked by Yin Cheng's precise diagnosis. Instead, she hurriedly asked,
Do you know how to treat it?
Unconsciously, Lena's tone was no longer so icy. As the information from Insight revealed, she was a nurse who revered medical skill and respected dedicated physicians. Yin Cheng smiled inwardly. In his vision, Lena's friendliness had shifted from hostile to neutral. Having gradually grasped Lena's behavioral code, he didn't immediately offer the solution. According to summaries from players who survived and returned from the horror game, ghosts and monsters weren't entirely mindless killing machines devoid of all reason. Under certain conditions, humans could also make deals with them, obtaining special rewards beyond the game's tasks. He saw such an opportunity with Lena.
Doctor?
Seeing Yin Cheng somewhat distracted, Lena's fair finger lightly tapped his chest.
Sorry, I was a bit distracted.
Yin Cheng snapped back to reality. He cursed his own carelessness inwardly. How dare he space out in front of a scarlet ghost? Heightening his vigilance, he spoke again.
My fair lady, your condition isn't really a major problem. I have a way to treat it.
Really?
Lena's tone clearly became surprised and excited.
That special time of year that troubled her annually, while not a huge issue, was still quite bothersome. Now, hearing there might be a solution, she couldn't suppress her inner joy.
Even her gaze towards Yin Cheng grew increasingly friendly.
Madam, treating your ailment isn't difficult for me. However, as a qualified nurse, you surely understand that a renowned physician doesn't work for free.
Yin Cheng wore a troubled expression, looking very conflicted. Especially for someone like me.
To completely solve your problem, I'd have to share a precious prescription with you. Being a physician is hard. The only valuable thing we have is the knowledge in our heads. I believe you, of all people, should understand that. Madam, you wouldn't want to see a physician like me lose the chance to explore higher medical arts due to poverty and moral danger, would you?
By the end, Yin Cheng's eyes were shining. Though he just wanted payment, he made it sound righteous and noble. With the information observed by Insight, he was already savoring the beauty of an information gap. When had Lena ever encountered a human so eloquent? She was more accustomed to corpses dismembered into pieces or made into specimens.
With her simple-minded nature, she immediately nodded and said,
You make a good point. Doctors in the third hospital charge high fees. As long as you can guarantee a cure, I can give you something of equivalent value as payment.
As expected of an excellent nurse. I knew you'd understand me.
After subtly delivering a compliment, Yin Cheng told Lena the solution analyzed by Insight, projecting an air of trust. He was putting on a show of great trust. The effect was immediate. Lena, who already respected doctors, her friendliness instantly shifted from neutral to friendly. Even before Lena could verify whether Yin Cheng's method would work, this level of change was achieved. It showed the power of a silver tongue.
Here. This is your payment.
Lena pulled a special card from her nurse uniform pocket. It had a small clip on it. She handed it to Yin Cheng.
He picked it up and looked. It read, Visiting Physician, in bold letters.
Due to some rules effect, Yin Cheng's portrait and name appeared on the card.
So this is a hidden identity? According to intel from players who return to the human world, hidden identities seem to be able to trigger things beyond regular missions, maybe hidden quests, or special hidden ghosts, and so on.
Yin Cheng frowned slightly, mentally weighing the risks and benefits this hidden identity might bring. However, judging by Lena's friendly attitude, the visiting physician title shouldn't be harmful. Of course, that's assuming he actually possesses superb medical skills. Otherwise, suicide would probably be the best option. With his god-tier talent, the Eye of Insight, Yin Cheng didn't need to worry about that.
Confidently, he pinned the visiting physician ID card onto his clothes. Yin Cheng glanced at the eerie third hospital, took a deep breath, and followed Lena inside. The smell of disinfectant was overpowering, mixed with some strange odors. It made you want to cover your nose and mouth. Inside the hospital, a long line snaked from the registration window. Ghosts of all shapes and sizes were surprisingly orderly under the watch of several burly, tiger-headed security guards. They were remarkably well behaved. Not a single case of line cutting occurred. In the logistics room, Lena's cold gaze swept over everyone. Only when it landed on Yin Cheng did it soften slightly.
As external hires, you lack sufficient work experience, so you'll only handle basic tasks within the third hospital. I will now assign your roles. You three, report to the morgue. The hospital is short on corpse movers lately. That task falls to you.
The three men she pointed at instantly turned pale, the color draining from their faces.
No one expected their first assigned job would be in the third hospital's morgue, as corpse movers. In this horror world overrun by ghosts, it doesn't take a genius to figure out a place like that must be extremely dangerous.
Even so, filled with despair, the three men showed no sign of resistance. In this era of the horror game's arrival, everyone has some understanding of it. Naturally, they wouldn't make rookie mistakes, like defying a ghost's task assignment when they lack the ability.
You four will serve as temporary nurses. You'll be responsible for Ward 1.
Lena pointed at the four female players and said,
Hearing that they weren't assigned to any weird or strange places, the four women visibly relaxed, but they weren't exactly happy either. The third hospital, with its 100% mortality rate, hung over them like a dark cloud.
As for the rest of you, you'll be responsible for cleaning the hospital. As a hospital with a renowned reputation, the hygiene standards are naturally demanding.
In just a few words, Lena finished assigning everyone their roles. Then, from the supply room cabinet, she took out the corresponding uniforms and tossed them in front of the group. She also tossed them a copy of the third hospital's temporary worker handbook. Only when facing Yin Cheng did Lena personally hand over a brand new white coat, placing it in his hands. She even included a stethoscope that Yin Cheng had absolutely no use for.
Thanks.
Yin Cheng smiled back, solemnly accepted the white coat, and meticulously put it on. He then pinned his ID card to the chest of the coat. Such a simple scene, yet it left the players present completely stunned.
I wonder what Yin Cheng said to that unbelievably beautiful female ghost, to receive such a huge difference in treatment compared to us.
In their eyes, visible envy and jealousy were evident. Among the male players, there was one with delicate, pretty features who had a certain kun style about him.
He looked at Yin Cheng's handsome, masculine face, then at the exquisitely elegant, queen-like female ghost nurse. Then he touched his own fair, pretty, skinny dog face. Then, thinking about how Yin Cheng used the excuse of discussing the condition to have the mature nurse send them away, in an instant, a flash of insight struck him. The truth is just like that. That restless idea instantly became unstoppable. Especially when he thought about having to work in such a dangerous place as the morgue. The kun-style man finally couldn't hold back, and weakly raised his hand. A weak, skinny dog voice followed.
Lena frowned, and looked at him.
Already irritable due to her irregular periods, she coldly spoke.
You'd better say something constructive, or else.
Her utterly indifferent attitude, and her completely different demeanor towards Yin Cheng actually made the Kun-Kun-style man even more certain of his guess.
At first, when the mature nurse treated Yin Cheng, wasn't she equally murderous?
The Kun-Kun-style man glanced around, and pretended to be shy as he spoke.
Beautiful lady, are you sure you want me to say it in front of so many people?
Well indeed. If you don't look, you don't know, but one look is enough to give you a fright. The Kun-Kun-style man's actions initially surprised Yin Cheng, thinking he actually had some skill to show. But then, the information obtained through insightful eye was like this.
Ordinary man, Kai Seo-kun, race, human, friendliness, friendly, though he's a bit jealous of you, for some reason. He still seems to hold you in high regard. A total weakling. A cat might be tougher than him. Preferences. Men. Attack or defense. He chose to defend. Weakness. A weakling is weak all over, of course. Current status. Although he doesn't like women, given Lena's preferential treatment of you, he seems to think the red-clothed ghost Lena has a certain unique inclination. That's why she's giving you extra care. Therefore, for the sake of his own life, he decided to sacrifice his own good looks. He's dead. Start planning the funeral.
Yin Cheng silently took a few steps away from Kai Xiaokun. Sweat broke out on his back.
A gay guy was right next to me.
The red-clothed ghost Lena slowly walked forward. Her slender, jade-like fingers picked up a sharp scalpel. On her overly pale face, a charming smile appeared. Though she didn't know what the guy was about to say, Lena could sense the oddity in his gaze. The next moment. Swish. What happened in that brief instant sent a chill through everyone present, piercing their hearts with ice. Their hair stood on end. This was the cruelty of the horror game. A living person was gruesomely dismembered right before their eyes. Fear seeped into their bones. Yet they could do nothing. Even Yin Cheng, blessed with 2 talents, deeply realized his own fragility. His wariness of ghosts soared to an unprecedented level. Lena had given him a chance to speak. That's how he was able to turn the situation around, maximizing the use of his eyes of insight.
But what if a ghost doesn't give you a chance at all?
His mind became clearer than ever.
The title of special appointed doctor wasn't a guarantee of safety. If I encounter a ghost that's unreasonable, dead set on killing me, I have no way to fight back right now. Not all ghosts will follow the hospital's rules. I can't bet my life on that. I need a plan. I must find a way to ensure my own safety.
Yin Cheng's thoughts raced. He pondered rapidly. How could he raise his survival chances to near perfection? As for sympathizing with other players, helping other players. Sorry. In a world where the horror game has descended, sympathy and mercy are luxuries. Many players have even died because of them. Unless he had absolute power, Yin Cheng wouldn't even consider such things. Suddenly, Yin Cheng's gaze fell on the nurse Lena again. He immediately had an idea. Borrow strength. The red-clothed ghost Lena before him was the perfect choice, wasn't she?
Put on your uniforms. Read the temporary worker manual carefully. You have 20 minutes left.
Lena elegantly put away her scalpel. Then her gaze fell on Yin Cheng.
You. Come with me.
Yin Cheng immediately followed. Under the intensely jealous stares of the other players, he left the supply room. In a private consultation room, Yin Cheng sat in the office chair, looking somewhat relaxed. Along the way, Lena had already explained his duties. Then Lena eagerly went to prepare the medicine. Clearly, the issue of irregular menstruation was quite troubling for her. From Lena's words, Yin Cheng also learned that as a specially appointed physician, his work might not be very busy, and could even be quite leisurely. It wasn't that the hospital lacked patients, it was mainly because Yin Cheng was human, and his status as a specially appointed physician made the ghosts and monsters distrust him. This actually suited him just fine, giving him plenty of time to think about why the third hospital had never had a single survivor to this day. Just as Lena went to get her medicine, temporarily unable to attend to Yin Cheng, at the entrance of the third hospital, an incredibly elegant figure descended from a dark cloud above and slowly walked through its gates.
She's here again.
The Rose Countess. Her problem still hasn't been solved yet?
Looks like the third hospital is about to lose another physician.
Shh! Stop spouting the truth. You trying to get yourself killed?
A group of pig-headed monsters, zombies, and the like, waiting in line to get their numbers, looked at the elegant figure with awe. She walked with unhurried steps, her enchanting figure exuding a captivating charm, yet it made those ugly ghosts keep their distance. The Rose Countess, a celebrity at the third hospital, would come here for treatment every so often. No one knew exactly what was wrong with her. They only knew that every time the Rose Countess came, not a single physician who treated her had ever been seen alive again. Yet the third hospital could do nothing about her. This led to a brief state of paralysis every time this terrifying Rose Countess arrived, as no doctor was willing to take on this hot potato that could cost them their life. In the hospital conference room, dozens of physicians who had hastily hidden there after receiving the news all wore expressions as unpleasant as if they were constipated.
Damn it. What illness does she even have that she keeps coming back here every so often?
A werewolf physician was somewhat agitated, with intense unease deep in his pupils. An alchemical biohuman, entirely green and covered in scars, couldn't help but speak up.
My master, Dr. Mundo, died at the hands of the Rose Countess. I don't want to follow in his footsteps. Director, where has the dean gone? If this keeps up, the third hospital will be ruined by the Rose Countess sooner or later.
Exactly. This can't go on, or there will be big problems sooner or later. A hospital without doctors would become a laughingstock if word got out.
The other physicians also chimed in with dissatisfaction. The director, who was handsome and seemingly no different from a normal person, stood leaning against the desk with his arms crossed, then gently raised a hand to signal the ghosts to quiet down. After the conference room quieted down, the director adjusted his black-rimmed glasses and smiled.
Didn't some new people arrive at the hospital? One of them seems quite capable, having earned Lena's approval and become a specially appointed physician.
At this point, a sinister smile curled at the corner of the director's mouth.
In that case, why don't we leave the Rose Countess for him to treat?
In the consultation room, Yin Cheng controlled the heat, personally brewing medicine for the big sister nurse Lena. He thought to himself, as expected of a hospital run by ghosts. The consultation room has almost every strange and bizarre thing. A gas stove is no exception.
With information from the inside eye, brewing medicine is such a simple task that it's not difficult to operate.
To further win Lena's favor is the only method Yin Cheng can think of to gain leverage. The strength of a red-clothed fierce ghost, in the horror world, is still quite impressive. While brewing the medicine, Yin Cheng's peripheral gaze swept to the side, the mature female ghost Lena, casually sitting on the consultation room's desk, her full, slender legs wrapped in blood-stained white stockings, gently swaying, looking filled with an unusual charm. As a red-clothed fierce ghost, a powerful entity among ghosts, how could she not notice Yin Cheng's gaze?
But she didn't mind. Instead, she felt somewhat pleased. Someone is willing to appreciate. That proves her charm, doesn't it?
Lena faces a bunch of ghosts with no sense of aesthetics, and those ghosts who have no idea what the ghost doctors are researching all day.
Rarely is there a doctor skilled in medicine, who also knows how to appreciate her charm.
It's inevitable that she feels a bit proud.
Of course, if the prescription Yin Cheng prescribed proves ineffective, that's another story. Lena's scalpel will cut him into pieces in no time.
The medicine is ready. Beautiful Miss Lena.
Yin Cheng hands the brewed medicine to Lena. She takes it, not caring if it's hot or not afraid if Yin Cheng tampered with it, and eagerly swallows it. The next moment,
Lena only feels that she has always had a ghost body cold and without temperature. A slight warmth arises in her lower abdomen, making her feel as if she's in a hot spring, experiencing unprecedented comfort.
The irritable feeling from menstrual disorder also dissipates. The medicine works instantly. The effect is surprisingly good.
Yin Cheng, your prescription is truly wonderful. So miraculous.
The problem that plagued Lena for who knows how many years was instantly cured by Yin Cheng's simple prescription. This made the mature female ghost jump up excitedly on the spot, giving Yin Cheng a heartfelt hug.
Seeing that Lena's friendliness has turned into goodwill, some inexplicable thoughts sprout in his mind. If friendliness continues to increase, Lena wouldn't, would she? A female ghost with a natural air conditioner doesn't seem too bad. As soon as such thoughts arise, Yin Cheng quickly snaps out of it.
Meanwhile, in the hospital corridor, Rose Countess walks with elegant steps, passing through. Every ghost that sees her subconsciously presses against the walls on both sides, not daring to breathe. Only after she goes far away do they gather with the other ghosts, whispering with strange looks. A crisp knocking sound interrupts the gradually deteriorating atmosphere in the consultation room. Yin Cheng reluctantly gently pushes away from Lena's embrace. Lena, smiling, walks to the side, like his assistant, eagerly waiting. Rose Countess enters upon hearing the sound. A male and a female ghost look at Rose Countess with completely different expressions.
Yin Cheng is just slightly startled, not expecting to have a patient come so quickly. At the same time, he was somewhat amazed by the charm of the female ghost before him. It was in no way inferior to Lena's. On top of that, she possessed an elegant, noble air that differed from Lena's cool demeanor. White is cute, black is sexy. And meat, well, that's gotta be cooked. Ugh. He shook off the random thoughts in his head. A professional smile appeared on Yin Cheng's face.
Ma'am, are you here to see the doctor?
I heard from your director that the third hospital has a new human doctor. So I came to take a look.
Countess Rose sat down gracefully. Her exquisitely perfect face seemed to carry an innate nobility. But just then,
Yin Cheng, Lena, the mature nurse who had been quietly standing behind him, rather urgently grabbed his arm. He was just about to take her pulse, his arm reaching out.
What's wrong?
Yin Cheng sensed something might be off. He turned and asked.
Lena shook her head at him. Then she looked at Countess Rose. Her voice low, she said,
Lady Rose, please find another doctor. He's only a specially appointed physician. His skills are limited. He can't help you.
From Lena's tone, Yin Cheng detected a hint of danger. Touched by Lena's concern, his heart stirred slightly. At the same time, he immediately activated Eyes of Insight to observe the elegant and captivating Countess Rose before him.
Vampire Countess, Rose, race, vampire, friendliness, hostile, her mood is terrible. Even Lore of the Dead cannot make her like you. Power level, blood-clad wraith, a terrifying existence above scarlet ghosts. Likes, blood, a vampire's favorite, nothing else compares. Maintains noble elegance. Weakness, blood, what they love can also be their fatal flaw. This is best exemplified in vampires. Current status, anorexia torments her constantly. She has visited hospital after hospital, seen doctor after doctor, but to no avail. To protect what she sees as her perfect noble reputation, and hide her secret, she has killed doctor after doctor. With your Lore of the Dead talent, your blood may hold a fatally tempting allure for her. Proceed with caution.
Yes.
The information fed back by Eyes of Insight made Yin Cheng suck in a sharp breath of cold air. His scalp tingling, he felt every hair on his body stand on end. The Lore of the Dead talent actually makes his blood fatally tempting to the vampire before him. And what the hell, you're a vampire? What kind of ghostly anorexia is this? I'm done for. Yin Cheng was truly done for. Countess Rose's condition is simple, yet also as difficult as climbing to heaven. A vampire's true food is, of course, blood. You can imagine how agonizing it would be to suffer from anorexia. The key issue is, Countess Rose is a terrifying entity at the bloody garment level. That's a full rank higher than Lena. If she were to turn hostile, even if Lena wanted to protect him, she'd be powerless to do so. What should he do? If he doesn't treat her, he's definitely dead. Countess Rose clearly has endured the torment of anorexia for a long time. That's why she appears elegant, yet harbors murderous intent toward everyone. If she discovers the secret of my blood, would she drain me dry on the spot? Yin Cheng grew anxious. A giant, danger, sign seemed to flash above his head.
Little girl, you're merely a nurse. How can you be so certain this doctor can't cure my illness?
Countess Rose's voice was like pearls dropping on jade, clear and crisp, yet with a hint of sickly sweetness. A graceful, noble smile graced her lips, but her crimson eyes rested on Lena. An invisible pressure made Lena's already pale, jade-like face grow even whiter. Bloody garment versus scarlet garment. A difference of one word, a world of difference in power. Yet, Lena still did not yield. Even under immense pressure, she tightly held onto Yin Cheng's arm.
Her touch was cold, yet it warmed Yin Cheng's heart. In a world where the horror game has descended, human nature is no longer trustworthy. For a ghost from the horror world, with whom he had just established friendly relations, to go this far for him, was already remarkable.
Feeling this warmth, Yin Cheng's previously agitated thoughts instantly calmed. He gently placed his other hand over Lena's jade-like hand gripping his arm. He gave it a light squeeze. This subtle gesture drew Lena's gaze to Yin Cheng's face. He offered her a gentle smile. His confident expression seemed to make Lena understand something. A faint blush flashed across her delicate features. Lena subtly withdrew her hand and quietly stepped to the side once more.
Interesting.
Countess Rose's beautiful eyes blinked. Assay. She observed the human and the ghost with keen interest. Since the horror game's arrival, humans being pulled into the horror world was nothing new. But someone like Yin Cheng, a human who seemed to have formed a bond with a horror world ghost,
was a first for her. In Countess Rose's experience, humans were weak. They harbored an innate fear and hostility toward ghosts. After all, most ghosts viewed humans as food. Mutual hostility and fear were common. At the very least, they kept a respectful distance. But someone like Yin Cheng, who seemed to make friends with ghosts, and even gained their trust, was truly one of a kind.
Human? You're not afraid of me?
Driven by curiosity and interest, Countess Rose set aside the matter of her treatment for now. She scrutinized Yin Cheng intently, as if trying to see right through him.
I am.
Yin Cheng's mind was clearer than ever. He replied sincerely.
Oh? But I don't see any fear in your eyes.
That's because I know a proper noble maintains their elegance and dignity at all times. Even when furious, they still uphold their perfect composure. Besides, I still have to diagnose your illness, don't I?
With the information from his insightful eye, Yin Cheng could easily talk the talk with people and speak the language of ghosts with them.
It might seem like sucking up, but to stay alive, a little flattery is nothing.
Little one, you have a sweet tongue.
I'm starting to like you. To be appreciated by an elegant, noble lady is my good fortune.
All right. Let's get down to business.
Countess Rose's smiling face, bright as a flower one second, turned cold and stern the next. Her demeanor warned others to keep their distance. Her mood changed as fast as flipping a page.
A classic noble skill.
As much as I like you, you sweet-talking little thing, if you can't cure my illness.
A faint, dangerous glint shone in Countess Rose's eerie eyes.
The words were left unspoken, but Yin Cheng already felt the threat of death. Though he felt some displeasure, there was nothing he could do. This was the world of horrors, human pride, and human edges. had long been worn smooth here. Survival was the only rule. If we were talking about other things, I might be powerless, but when it comes to medical skill,
absolute confidence showed on Yin Cheng's face. Though I'm just a specially appointed physician, I can say without exaggeration that no one in the entire third hospital surpasses me in skill. Upon hearing this, Lena's eyes beside him shone even brighter. The look Countess Rose gave him became somewhat inscrutable.
Confidence is a good thing. Overconfidence, not so much. You understand that, don't you, little one?
My apologies. If telling the truth is seen as arrogant overconfidence, then all I can say is the physicians of the third hospital are all trash compared to me.
Yin Cheng now displayed a wild arrogance completely different from his previous caution. What he needed to do now was to firmly establish his identity as a master physician, and, by leveraging Countess Rose's terrifying power, make himself unshakable within the third hospital, free from any life-threatening worries.
Good, I like your confidence.
Countess Rose showed no displeasure at Yin Cheng's arrogance. Instead, she smiled again. Begin. I hope your confidence truly matches your skill. Please extend your hand. Yin Cheng had no intention of saying more. He planned to let his actions do the talking.
Gotta put on a bit of a show. Diagnosing someone's illness at a glance would be a bit too unbelievable. A bit too unbelievable.
Traditional Chinese medicine.
Countess Rose clearly had some knowledge. She removed her long leather glove. Her exquisite, perfect jade-like hand was extended before Yin Cheng. Without hesitation, Yin Cheng placed 2 fingers upon it.
Even with little pressure, the sensation was supremely wonderful. Skin like congealed jade, and possessing a faint warmth that Lena lacked. As for the pulse, oh, I know nothing from the touch. I got too carried away playing the role of a miracle doctor. Yin Cheng almost forgot he doesn't know medicine.
Gathering his focus, Yin Cheng withdrew his hand and deliberately furrowed his brow. Seeing this, the Rose Countess looked on with a hint of curiosity in her eyes. She was quite eager to know if this human she found rather agreeable
could really diagnose her condition just by taking her pulse.
I understand your condition. I imagine you must have been suffering from this illness for a long time now.
You really diagnosed my illness?
The light in the Rose Countess's eyes gradually brightened. Yin Cheng could clearly read an urgent emotion within them.
Anorexia, am I right?
The very moment Yin Cheng spoke, a terrifying, overwhelming killing intent enveloped the entire consultation room. A crimson light completely shrouded the whole chamber. The Rose Countess remained seated in place. The domain power, unique to powerhouses of the Bloody Garment fierce ghost level, instantly blanketed the consultation room. To step beneath the Bloody Garment meant certain death. This sudden, shocking turn of events was still within Yin Cheng's expectations. From the information obtained by Insightful Eye, the Rose Countess cared deeply about her noble reputation. For a vampire, the significance of anorexia was naturally no small matter. If word got out and other vampires found out, she would likely instantly become the laughingstock of the entire vampire race, the kind nailed to the pillar of shame.
After all, if a vampire doesn't like drinking blood anymore, what's next? Switching to plain milk?
However, Yin Cheng actually understood clearly that it wasn't that the Rose Countess disliked drinking blood. Just as indicated in her preferences, fresh blood remained her favorite. The more likely reason was that her pickiness regarding the quality of blood had reached an extreme degree, which led to the emergence of anorexia.
I'm starting to like you a little less, little one. Revealing a noble secret so casually is a very impolite move.
A chilling, murderous intent radiated from within the Rose Countess's eerie pupils. Countless crimson threads, like living creatures, extended from behind her, gently brushing against Yin Cheng's cheek.
It felt a bit ticklish, but it also made him feel death drawing so near.
Behind Yin Cheng, Lena struggled to move. The nurse's uniform that perfectly accentuated her graceful figure had completely turned a deep crimson. Her scalpel emitted a faint hum, and surprisingly, a pair of gray wings began to unfurl from Lena's back. A pair of gray wings were quietly spreading. Her eyes were also gradually turning into an indifferent, icy gray-white. Seeing this, the Rose Countess slightly furrowed her brow. Looking at the gray wings behind Lena, her eyes showed a hint of surprise.
Little ghost girl, I advise you not to make any rash moves. The big guy behind you might be troublesome for me, but it's not enough to make me completely wary.
Let him go.
Lena's tone was icy and bone-chilling. Resisting the immense pressure, she still refused to yield.
Why? I can understand a ghost protecting humans for various reasons. But I can't understand why Lena would go to such lengths for a mere human.
Because he cured an illness that plagued me for so long, and because he's a very good doctor.
Lena replied coldly. There was another vague thought in her heart. One, she was too embarrassed to voice.
After all, for a female ghost, to say out loud that Yin Cheng is her friend, it just feels loaded with complicated implications.
Not far from Yin Cheng's consultation room, in another examination room, the director of Third Hospital and the other doctors had gathered together. Their faces were etched with anticipation and anxiety.
They hoped Countess Rose would leave quickly after dealing with that human doctor.
Their anxiety stemmed from worry that Countess Rose might fly into a rage after another failed consultation, dragging them all down with her. The human and Lena's auras have vanished.
They must be enveloped by the Countess's crimson domain. Suddenly, the director spoke in a low voice.
The expressions on the other doctors' faces turned grave. That kid is done for. If even our third hospital can't solve it, what can some greenhorn do? Let's just hope after Countess Rose kills him, her anger subsides.
And she doesn't take it out on us. Hard to say. How many times has Countess Rose visited our hospital? Her problem has never been resolved. We don't even dare inquire about her ailment. Every doctor who learned of it died. If she never gets treatment, who can guarantee what a blood-clad entity might do once she goes mad? The bespectacled director had a faint glint in his eyes behind his lenses. After uttering that one word, he fell silent. Inside the consultation room, an instant hush fell. In the corridor, the various ghosts kept a certain distance from Yin Cheng's room, yet they craned their necks eagerly, seeming to await the final outcome. Countess Rose's illness has long been a topic of discussion in Third Hospital. To this day, no doctor has been able to cure it. Naturally, it became a major subject of gossip among the ghosts. Some audacious ghosts even secretly set up betting pools, luring others to wager, raking in huge profits. Many ghosts also speculated what bizarre ailment Countess Rose suffered from, that it remained unresolved for so long. Some with ulterior motives, like the Countess's black-hearted best friend, were frantically gathering information
about her treatment in secret. Lena, trust me.
I never said I couldn't cure Countess Rose. Inside the crimson domain, Yin Cheng reached out a somewhat stiff hand and grasped Lena's. The icy chill emanating from her was stronger than ever, making him shiver involuntarily. A layer of frost formed on his palm. With those words, the unbearably tense atmosphere in the room eased considerably. A flicker of surprise passed through Countess Rose's bewitching eyes. His overconfident demeanor
made her doubt this human's credibility. Yet in her heart, she desperately hoped her anorexia could finally be cured.
You can really treat my illness? I wouldn't joke about my own life and death. You only get one life. I don't want to waste it like this.
Yin Cheng's confident tone slightly eased the doubts in Countess Rose's heart.
Let's hear it.
Countess Rose calmed down, the blood tendrils licking Yin Cheng's cheek also retracted. It's simple. Yin Cheng turned his head and smiled at Lena. Can I borrow your scalpel? Although puzzled, Lena nodded.
Taking the scalpel, Yin Cheng stared miserably at his finger. He sighed inwardly. In ancient times, Buddha cut his flesh to feed an eagle. Now, Yin Cheng cuts his finger to feed a vampire. For the sake of his own life, what else could he do?
The scalpel was far sharper than Yin Cheng imagined. With just a light cut, blood instantly flowed from his index finger. A fragrance imperceptible to humans, but for ghosts and monsters, irresistibly tempting, instantly filled the air. Countess Rose's eyes instantly glazed over, and it wasn't just her. Even Lena, who wasn't a vampire, felt a faint desire stirring within. Slurp times just as the blood was about to drip from his finger onto the table, a scene neither Yin Cheng nor Lena expected unfolded. He had thought his blood would be very attractive to Countess Rose. But he never imagined the attraction wasn't just very strong. It was downright freaking insane. Countess Rose, who exuded elegance in all things, even in killing, with utmost grace, actually pulled his finger over and put it in her mouth. The expression on Countess Rose's pale face instantly changed. The previous dullness in her eyes vanished. At this moment, Yin Cheng felt an indescribable sensation. The vampire's innate ability to paralyze prey gave him a feeling he'd never experienced before. So much so that he ignored his body growing weaker. He felt so exhausted he could barely keep his eyes open. His complexion rapidly paled. It was now comparable to Lena's.
Yin Cheng.
Lena snapped back to reality and cried out. This jolted Yin Cheng from his stupor.
Holy crap.
His voice had become hoarse and weak.
Stop. Stop it. If you keep sucking, I'm gonna kick the bucket.
Yin Cheng was starting to panic. He knew it would be attractive, but not this absurdly attractive. But how could a mere human like him resist a blood robe level vampire countess?
Even with Lena trying to help him,
it was completely futile. Yin Cheng felt the danger sign above his head, rapidly changing to death.
Suddenly, an idea flashed in his mind. A stroke of genius in desperation.
With all his might, he shouted hoarsely, "Madam, one big meal or a steady supply. You understand the difference, right?"
Upon hearing this, the indulgent, greedy look in Countess Rose's eyes finally regained a trace of clarity. His face was pale as a sheet. His body felt possessed, too weak to even move a muscle. It was bizarre. And it left him with incredibly mixed feelings.
He wants to pull his finger back, but he's also reluctant to let go. It's killing me.
Fortunately, Count Rose is startled by Yin Cheng's words. She stops sucking his blood. She just holds his finger in her mouth, as if savoring the delicious taste she just sampled. On her face, radiating stunning charm. After the rosy hue gradually faded, Count Rose reluctantly lets go of the finger in her mouth. The subtle allure, she reveals, even makes Yin Cheng, who's extremely weak, arch his body slightly.
He's innocent, nor is he impotent. If faced with Count Rose in such a state, he didn't have any respect, then Yin Cheng would probably have to consider whether he's like that dead Kun Kun Feng guy, and has a serious problem.
Little one. I'm really growing fond of you. Come back to my castle with me. I promise to keep you well fed and healthy.
Count Rose's crimson and eerie gaze makes Yin Cheng shudder with fear. What a joke.
Being taken back to the vampire castle to be kept as a human blood reservoir.
Just thinking about that miserable fate. Yin Cheng's face darkens a bit.
Madam, is this your attitude towards a doctor who can treat your condition?
Count Rose. You're being a bit excessive.
Lena's eyes also flare with anger.
She won't allow the doctor she respects to be treated like this.
In an instant, the wings behind her spread to their fullest. Her body is lifted into the air by an invisible force. Within the Crimson Domain, a particularly unique power emanates from Lena's body. Wherever the ripples of that power spread, tables and chairs, paper and pens, actually decay at a visibly rapid pace. Even the crimson hue in the domain seems to fade at an extremely slow pace. Yin Cheng is utterly astonished. He didn't expect Lena, as a red-clothed level ghost, to actually affect Count Rose's domain. Even in the human world, it's well known. The gap between each tier among ghosts is like a chasm, yet Lena can achieve this level. There's only one answer: she's a special ghost. The kind with both an outer and inner identity. After the horror game descended, humans haven't been without achievements. Some veteran players have gradually uncovered information about many aspects of the horror world. Special ghosts are one of them. Two souls in one body, or having dual identities of outer and inner appearance, or even appearing as an ordinary object normally, yet capable of transforming into a terrifying ghost. All belong to the category of special ghosts. One undeniable point is, special ghosts in the horror world are extremely rare. They are either extremely powerful or possess some rare abilities.
Lena seems to be a special ghost with rare abilities. It seems the insight eye isn't omnipotent. Lena's inner identity, at least I can't see through it. Yin Cheng is deeply alert about the danger level of the horror world, and has gained a new understanding. Of course, he further suspects the reason he can't see through Lena's inner identity is because his own strength is too weak. The eyes of insight were a unique, god-tier talent. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be that simple.
Setting aside his complicated thoughts, when Yin Cheng looked at Lena again, he attempted to use the eyes of insight once more. The next moment, the information that came back was slightly different from what he saw initially.
Nurse at 3rd Hospital, Lena, race, inner aspect, angel of death, an exceedingly rare type of ghost, possesses the terrifying power to bring death and decay to the world. Friendliness level, trust. Gaining the trust of a ghost is a rare and precious thing. Please cherish it. Power level, quasi-bloody garment, highly unstable state. Overwhelming power is often not easily controlled, especially when one's realm is insufficient. Interests, studying medical arts, aspires to become a master physician, like Dr. Yin Cheng, with the skill to bring the dying back to life. A change brought about by someone. Weakness, legs, wings. The wings that symbolize death may also bring death upon herself. Current state, angry. She cannot stand idly by and watch the physician she reveres suffer. Perhaps there are other factors as well.
The moment he saw the information, Yin Cheng wasn't marveling at the might of Lena's inner aspect. Instead, he genuinely felt Lena's concern for him. Even as a scarlet fierce ghost, she couldn't fully control the power of the angel of death. Yet, for his sake, she was willing to wield that power that could harm her, to stand against Countess Rose, to act despite knowing it's impossible, to fight despite knowing victory is unlikely. Sometimes, it's not out of foolishness, but because it's simple, pure.
At this moment, something seemed to become clear in Yin Cheng's heart. In the horror game where death is everywhere, cannibalism among peers, deception, and exploitation are all too common. So much so that among players within the game, it's almost impossible to build relationships of trust.
The first time he came to the horror world, he didn't have much interaction with his own kind. Instead, it was with a beautiful female ghost that he established a bond of trust. The innate sense of fear that ghosts instill in people was gradually fading away. Replacing it, it was like a door to a new world had opened. Ghosts could also become friends, or even a hum, at least from Lena. After the trust was established, Yin Cheng could feel that, as long as he didn't do anything stupid, she truly regarded him as a reliable friend. She didn't have the overly complex thoughts of humans. Trust was simply trust. Therefore, for her human friend Yin Cheng, she could withstand the pressure from Countess Rose, who was a tier above her, to protect him. What she disliked, she simply disliked. She could cruelly kill a human man, like crushing an ant. Simple and pure. Lena, trust me, let me handle this, okay?
Yin Cheng's calm gaze seemed to possess a certain magic, meeting Lena's eyes. It was incredibly gentle. His simple words quickly calmed her down.
Okay.
Just a single word, but it made Yin Cheng feel that Lena's trust in him had deepened even further. Sure enough, under the eye of insight, Lena's friendliness toward him had already risen from trust to confidant. A faint smile touched Yin Cheng's lips. His small favor of healing Lena, and his identity as a fake doctor, had earned him her goodwill. It even rose from friendly to trust. That's why Lena was willing to pay a price to protect him. Likewise, Yin Cheng didn't want to see Lena get hurt, and his act of stopping her let her feel his concern for her. So, her trust deepened further, simple and pure.
In the treatment room, the atmosphere remained tense. Although Lena listened to Yin Cheng and reigned in her rampaging power, her gaze toward the Rose Countess was still full of wariness. As for the Rose Countess, she was looking at Lena and Yin Cheng with a slightly odd expression. Her face held a very amused look.
You seem to have misunderstood me. As an elegant noble, keeping one's benefactor as a personal blood bank or the like is not something a true noble would do.
However, the Rose Countess paused slightly. Her crimson eyes shimmered with an eerie light.
Doctor, how do you plan to treat my condition?
A fatal question. One wrong answer and he might be done for. His blood held a lethally tempting allure for the Rose Countess. The fact that she completely disregarded elegance and put his finger in her mouth proved it. Her psychological anorexia was utterly defenseless against Yin Cheng's blood. Curing the illness is easy. But the problem Yin Cheng now faced was how to conduct the treatment in a sustained, staged manner, instead of being drained dry on the spot by the Rose Countess. Or perhaps, if his proposed plan didn't satisfy her, she would still choose to take him back to her castle and keep him. Even though the Rose Countess said she wouldn't treat Yin Cheng like a human blood bank, losing his freedom was also something Yin Cheng did not want to see. After thinking for a moment, Yin Cheng spoke his prepared lines.
Lady Rose, rather than saying you have anorexia, it's more that your noble status has cultivated an extremely picky appetite. You don't mind me saying that, do you?
Go on.
The Rose Countess's expression shifted slightly. It felt like a little secret had been exposed.
My blood undoubtedly holds great appeal for you. I assume you won't deny that either.
Of course.
This time, the Rose Countess answered without hesitation.
Good.
Yin Cheng's face was pale, yet he still maintained a smile.
In my homeland, there's a saying, rarity increases value. I wonder what you think of that.
Rarity increases value. An interesting summary. That is indeed true most of the time.
Take the same kind of food. If you eat it every day, even if it's the finest delicacies, you'll eventually get sick of it. Isn't that right?
Hearing this, Countess Rose chuckled.
Kid, after beating around the bush for so long, you just want me to drink your blood in moderation, so you have enough time to grow stronger and then find a way to escape me.
No.
Yin Cheng shook his head. He looked sincerely into her eyes.
A blood robe wraith level powerhouse possessing a domain is a recognized hallmark. That's common knowledge. Within the entire horror world, you're among the upper echelon. Not to mention you have the entire vampire clan behind you. I'm just an unlucky guy who got selected by the horror game and dragged into this bizarre world. Luckily, my fortune wasn't all bad. I met a beautiful and gentle lady like Lena, who gave me a relatively safe identity.
Yin Cheng was fully utilizing his silver tongue. While negotiating with Countess Rose, he didn't forget to slip in a subtle compliment for Lena.
That's Brother Cheng's social finesse for you. Let's cut to the chase. I don't have the strength to survive perfectly in this world. If I can hitch my wagon to a star, and all I have to pay is some blood that won't kill me, why wouldn't I take that deal? As for escaping,
Yin Cheng smiled bitterly.
Countess, do you know how envious other human players would be of the treatment I'm receiving now? To live, or to die? That is the question. I don't know how you ghosts view such a problem, but I choose to live. Even if I must live humbly, only by living is there hope. Even if that hope is just a single spark in the dark night, I'm still willing to chase after it.
Countess Rose's eyes showed a flicker of emotion. Lena's delicate hand had, at some point, gently taken hold of Yin Cheng's hand. They could feel the sincerity in Yin Cheng's words, and that genuine, heartfelt reverence for life.
Sorry. My little emotional outburst must seem amusing. Let's get back on topic.
Yin Cheng's expression turned serious.
From another perspective, I am a physician. You, Countess, are my patient. You pay the medical fee, and I am responsible for curing your illness. That's also a mutually beneficial relationship. If I can gain even a little benefit from your hands, Countess, it would be more than enough for a newbie player like me. Isn't that right?
Kid. You're clever. And quite honest.
Countess Rose's gaze toward Yin Cheng had already changed.
She saw in Yin Cheng a resilience uncommon in ordinary people, a unique resilience. This kind of resilience is precisely the key to surviving within the horror game.
Would you be willing to give it a try, follow my advice, and use my treatment plan?
After saying all that and even showing some genuine emotion, he certainly didn't want all that talking to go to waste. But Countess Rose's attitude was still the core of the issue.
All right.
Just two simple words, yet they let Yin Cheng heave a long sigh of relief inside. He could even sense that Lena, who was holding his arm, had clearly relaxed a great deal as well.
However,
Countess Rose's tone shifted.
However, what?
Your potential is quite remarkable. To earn the absolute trust of a death angel and possess a will to survive beyond ordinary people. So,
Countess Rose deliberately paused here. Her soft agile tongue lightly licked the corner of her mouth. In her crimson, bewitching eyes an unusual gleam flickered. Within the crimson domain, Countess Rose's figure vanished from the spot in an instant. Yin Cheng and Lena had no time to react at all. The true power of a blood-clad specter, even with Lena's hidden identity as a death angel, was utterly useless against it. Already groggy and numb from excessive blood loss, Yin Cheng's senses had long grown dull and sluggish.
He only became aware that a graceful figure had appeared behind him, pressing tightly against his back. A vampire's body was far from as cold as a spectre's. It even felt a bit moist. The next moment, Yin Cheng felt a faint, warm dampness appear on his neck. He guessed Countess Rose must have bitten him again, but due to the nature of vampires, even though he was bitten, he, as a human, felt no pain whatsoever. On the verge of losing consciousness, Yin Cheng faintly sensed, his final shred of awareness faintly detected, that something new seemed to have appeared within his body, silently transforming his physique.
Then he slumped onto the table and fell into a deep sleep.
Within the Crimson Domain, Lena looked at Countess Rose with confusion. The other's originally rosy complexion was now slightly pale.
Why, Countess Rose, you, who have never given your embrace to anyone until now, why did you choose him? Lena didn't know why she was asking this question, and while asking it, she felt an inexplicable emotion in her heart.
You can think of it as an investment. Or rather consider it the payment for the doctor's services.
The toll of the embrace had left her somewhat weakened. Yet on Countess Rose's face a satisfied smile lingered. Her gaze fell upon Yin Cheng, brimming with satisfaction.
Investment?
The latter part of her sentence, Lena could understand, but the first part left her feeling rather baffled. With Countess Rose's power, why would she need to invest in a mere human? Although in Lena's eyes, Yin Cheng was a great physician, with profound and unfathomable medical skills, who had even solved Countess Rose's own problem, that still didn't change the fact that Yin Cheng was just a fragile human. For Countess Rose to use her precious, pure-blooded embrace on a human seemed utterly incomprehensible to Lena.
Call it my intuition. I just have a feeling this cute little fellow will grow into a towering tree in the future. Perhaps by then I'll be able to enjoy the shade beneath that tree. That seems rather wonderful too.
As she spoke, she used her slender, crimson glowing fingers to gently trace a small, vampire-specific magic circle in the air. The magic circle flew toward Yin Cheng's arm, finally imprinting itself upon it and transforming into a seal-sized pattern. After completing this small gesture, Countess Rose's gaze fell upon Lena and she instructed,
When he wakes up, be sure to tell him that the array on his arm can be used to send things directly to me. As a noble, I am willing to follow the doctor's instructions regarding how often to take a course of medication. Let him make the arrangements. Also, remember what happened today. Don't tell anyone. Oh, right. Tell him, if a single course of medication doesn't feel like enough for me, hehe.
Watching Countess Rose withdraw her domain and depart with a charming laugh, Lena was momentarily stunned.
It seemed unexpected that Countess Rose, who had killed several doctors from Third Hospital, was avoided by other ghosts, and even she herself feared would display such an attitude.
The domain vanished. In the consultation room, a glint flashed in the bespectacled director's eyes, who appeared no different from an ordinary person. The dozen or so other doctors also grew slightly restless.
They inwardly breathed sighs of relief, secretly thankful that Lena had brought in a special appointment doctor, allowing one of them, who should have been the unlucky one, to escape unscathed. As for actually curing Countess Rose's illness, they hadn't even considered such a possibility.
Suddenly, the director let out a thoughtful hum, his expression turning somewhat gloomy.
Did you all hear Countess Rose's laughter?
Huh?
The burly werewolf doctor was momentarily taken aback, his face instantly stiffening.
I think I heard. But
before he could finish his sentence, boom. The consultation room door instantly exploded into a pile of debris under the assault of a crimson force. Whoosh, the director's face looked as if he'd eaten something foul. The dozen or so doctors under his command, upon seeing the figure outside the door, all uniformly shrank behind him in unison, leaving him alone to face the terrifying presence that was Countess Rose.
The new doctor is quite good, I'm impressed.
No one expected that after making a special trip to deliver just these words, Countess Rose would turn and leave. Only after a good while did the doctors in the consultation room regain their composure. Their gazes shifted uniformly to expressions of disbelief, as if saying, how on earth did that human doctor manage that? No one noticed the unprecedented gloom that surfaced deep within the director's eyes. At the main entrance of Third Hospital, dark clouds carried the elegant lady away as she made her exit. However, the scene that unfolded at the consultation room door, witnessed by a crowd of ghosts, completely ignited the atmosphere of Third Hospital. After Countess Rose's departure,
Incredible. Countess Rose actually didn't kill that human doctor.
no way. Could her mysterious illness have actually been cured by a human?
Oh shit, I bet my life savings on Dice Demon. Fuck. I'm gonna rip that human to shreds.
Oh ho, it's time for the classic gambler's swan dive. Hilarious. Kill that human. That guy was personally praised by the Earl of Roses. You don't actually think it was just a simple compliment, do you? You're kidding, right?
Wait. Even the Earl of Roses' illness was cured by that human. Doesn't that prove his medical skills are truly exceptional?
Watson, you've spotted the key detail.
Some ghosts rejoiced, others despaired. To most ghosts, the Earl of Roses' affair was just gossip. But to those who happened to need treatment, it was a completely different story. They each had their own problems, big or small, which the doctors at Third Hospital couldn't perfectly solve. Otherwise, they wouldn't have become repeat customers. For a moment, the atmosphere in Third Hospital grew quiet again. The ghosts looked at each other, their gazes gradually growing fervent. Even the chainsaw maniac, who had lost everything betting against Yin Cheng, fell silent. He even took advantage of the other's distraction to sneak toward Yin Cheng's consultation room. He, too, had some difficult-to-cure ailments. Due to his status as a human plus specially appointed physician, Yin Cheng's consultation room didn't require appointments. This led to a brawl outside his door, as a crowd of ghosts with stubborn illnesses fought for the chance to be treated first. In a corner, several trembling, maimed human female players' mouths hung open in an O shape. The pain from their physical injuries was temporarily overshadowed by shock and awe.
They couldn't fathom why the gap between them and another human could be so vast. They carefully tended to patients in Ward 1, terrified of making the slightest mistake, yet they were still picked apart for minor flaws, and had parts of their bodies cruelly eaten by ghosts.
In contrast, Yin Cheng, having seemingly cured a powerful ghost's illness, instantly became a hot commodity within Third Hospital, even sought after by ghosts themselves. What safety concerns did he have to worry about?
The disparity in their situations filled them with envy, while also planting other thoughts in their minds.
The spacious corridor became quite crowded due to the ghost's frantic jostling. Unaware in his slumber, Yin Cheng didn't know a long line had already formed outside his consultation room. Fortunately, his considerate assistant Lena was there to maintain order for him. Elsewhere, in a consultation room where over a dozen ghost doctors had gathered, the director's expression was dark and unreadable. A murderous intent, imperceptible to others, swirled deep within his pupils. His plan absolutely could not tolerate any unexpected interference. Yet, damn it all, that wretched human brat had actually caught the Earl of Roses' eye. A terrifying entity at the bloody garment level. Even he, the director of Third Hospital, was nothing more than an ant in its eyes.
Damn it. Why can't a mere human just die quietly?
The director raged inwardly, yet had to maintain a calm facade.
Director, what should we do now? That human kid lucked out and got the Earl of Roses' favor. Should we show some goodwill, maybe curry a little favor with him?
Even though they're jealous of Yin Cheng, what can they do about it? It's better to be practical and figure out how to get on Count Rose's good side through Yin Cheng. After all, she's a bloody dress fierce ghost. Even a little something from her would be a huge boon for guys like us who aren't even red dress level.
Show goodwill.
The director's eyes behind his glasses are dark and gloomy, and he says meaningfully,
Indeed. That's Count Rose we're talking about. Of course we should show some goodwill.
Since you think so too, Director, what should we do next?
The thick-skinned ghost doctors clearly don't notice the director's odd behavior. Instead, they're all eagerly thinking of ways to please Count Rose.
No rush. Even if we're to give that human some benefits, it has to be within the rules of the game, doesn't it?
A strange smile appears on the director's face, and a ruthless glint flashes in his eyes. After being unconscious for nearly half an hour, Yin Cheng feels like he had a fantastical dream, but upon waking, he can't remember anything about it.
It seems.
Yin Cheng clenches his fist. The strange feeling that he could kill an ox with a casual punch leaves him utterly baffled.
Could it be that I'm so weak it's causing hallucinations?
He can't help but tentatively stand up. Crackle, pop. His joints immediately let out a series of crisp sounds. Yin Cheng feels his physical condition is better than ever. Even the chronic ailments left from his 996 days seem to have completely vanished.
Lena?
Seeing no one in the room, Yin Cheng tentatively calls out. The door to the consultation room swings open.
You're awake?
On Lena's pale, bloodless face, a smile appears. After closing the door, she quickly steps forward, circles Yin Cheng several times, and only after confirming he's fine does Lena finally relax, then looks at him with a beaming smile. Yin Cheng feels there's something off about Lena's gaze and quickly asks,
What about Count Rose? Did she leave? Or?
She's gone.
The smile on Lena's face gradually fades, and the excitement in her tone recedes as well. Seeing this, Yin Cheng inwardly curses himself for being an idiot. The fact that Lena appeared by his side the moment he called clearly means she was waiting outside, protecting him. Yet the first thing he does upon waking is to call Lena in and ask about that woman, Count Rose. Isn't this just the typical behavior of a heartless scoundrel?
What do I do? What do I do?
Yin Cheng's mind races. He wonders whether it's his nickname Brother Cheng kicking in, or his inherent desire to give every woman a home starting to take effect. Yin Cheng pretends to heave a sigh of relief.
Thank goodness she's gone. I thought.
He trails off. And sure enough, it piques Lena's curiosity.
Thought what?
He doesn't speak immediately. Instead, he takes a step forward, gently takes Lena's cold, jade-like hand, and holds it tight.
I thought I was going to lose the only, most important friend I have in this world. Lena.
His sincere, emotion-filled gaze, coupled with a tone that was slightly too sweet, was something this inexperienced young ghost girl had never faced before. A blush instantly rose on her pale face. Her eyes began to dart around evasively. She didn't dare look Yin Cheng in the eye.
What are you talking about? What do you mean, about to lose me?
Lena's slightly flustered tone, tinged with a bit of confusion, was clearly different from her usual cold responses, carrying an unusual emotion. More importantly, she tacitly accepted that she was Yin Cheng's only most important friend. He may have never been in a relationship, but Yin Cheng had seen how it's done. Having watched plenty of cheesy dramas, he immediately understood. He had Lena completely figured out.
You know what? Just now, when I was unconscious, I had a terrible nightmare.
Yin Cheng's face showed a lingering fear.
A nightmare?
Lena grew even more curious. So much so that she even forgot her hands were still being held tightly by Yin Cheng.
Yes.
Yin Cheng's voice became somewhat panicked.
I dreamed that Countess Rose ultimately rejected my proposal. She still insisted on taking me back to her castle to keep me as a human blood bank. Do you know how desperate I felt then?
His slightly trembling tone, panicked eyes, and his hands gripping tighter and tighter, as if afraid of losing something, made Lena's long-still heart seem to start thumping once again.
She couldn't quite explain it, what that feeling even was, but her gaze towards Yin Cheng softened, to a degree she herself hardly noticed.
In the dream, I thought I was done for. But you, Lena, you risked everything to save me, no matter the cost. You even. For my sake.
Yin Cheng purposefully left the sentence unfinished. A flash of sorrow passed through his eyes. He fell silent. Lena was also affected by this mood. She tightly held Yin Cheng's large hand, unwilling to let go.
I thought I was going to lose you, Lena. Thank goodness it was just a nightmare. If one of us truly had to die, I wish it would be me.
After a moment of silence, Yin Cheng gently lifted Lena's head with both hands. He looked directly into her eyes. The smooth, player-like words flowed effortlessly. Paired with his textbook perfect gentle gaze, Lena, who had never experienced such an advance before, was instantly melted.
She wanted to say something, to express that she did it all willingly. She wanted to tell Yin Cheng that for a friend, even death was a price she was willing to pay.
However, Brother Cheng, with his passive talent awakened, gently extended a finger and placed it on Lena's cool lips. He gave her no chance to speak. Everything was said in the silence. The warmth of his fingertip and their two faces drawing close gradually began to heat up the atmosphere in the room. Closer and closer. The two faces were now only separated by the width of Yin Cheng's finger. Knock. 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 A knocking sound came from the door. Coming to her senses, the blush on Lena's face vanished instantly. She jumped away like a startled rabbit.
Tears streamed down Yin Cheng's face. 1,000 words condensed in his heart into one. Damn it. So close, yet so far. Lena is clearly the type of inexperienced, innocent little ghost girl. Finally, there was such a perfect opportunity, but it got interrupted. The chance to become a Death Knight was right there, but some lowlife blocked the path, blocking my path. This feud is to the death. Without even realizing it, Yin Cheng's mindset had already changed. Being a Death Knight or something doesn't seem so bad after all.
What he hadn't noticed yet was, it wasn't just his mindset, his body had also been altered. After all, it's work hours. Even though he was interrupted, his progress, Yin Cheng still suppressed his frustration, and prepared to treat the ghosts. Up until now, the horror game still hadn't issued him a mission. He was starting to wonder. Was his hidden identity not working as intended? According to the gaming experience of top players in the real world, after the horror game pulls players into a corresponding instance, it randomly assigns them identities. Or, like in Third Hospital, the ghosts assign them identities. Basically, once the identity is confirmed, the horror game issues missions to different players will be issued accordingly. Completing the mission is the top priority. That's the only way to leave the horror world and return to the human world. Next is naturally doing everything possible to survive.
But for Yin Cheng, after obtaining the special physician identity, he's already treated 2 patients, but there's still no sign of a mission. Naturally, he found it strange. The one who entered the consultation room wasn't a ghost seeking treatment, nor was it one of the human players seeking help. It was a bespectacled man, with a slightly gloomy face, the director of Third Hospital. Yin Cheng didn't care who it was. He immediately used insight to observe the visitor's information. Observing the visitor's information, Third Hospital director, he, race, greedy ghost, friendliness, hatred. You seem to have blocked this greedy ghost's path to wealth, strength, Peak malevolent ghost. Likes, money, anything of value, can be considered money. Weakness, money. He who values wealth above all, will ultimately perish on his path of insane accumulation. Current status, must kill this damn human, make him disappear quietly, within the rules, and die in the hospital. The morgue task, seems like a good choice. That ghoul probably wouldn't mind, enjoying some fresh human flesh as a treat. The gluttony ghost in Ward 3, would probably like that human's young body too.
Damn it.
Savoring the information fed back by insight, he began to doubt. Was his undead allure talent fake or something? It was supposed to have a base friendliness of neutral, right? Why do these guys popping up one after another all seem to want my life? With Lena, it was a misunderstanding that can be explained. Rose Countess was irritable due to illness. That's understandable. But this damn guy I've never even met, the director of 3rd Hospital, how did I block his path to wealth? Rose Countess's worst friendliness was only hostile. At most. This guy has already escalated to hatred. It's simply unbelievable.
Although Yin Cheng was racking his brains, thinking about how to kill this guy, on the surface, he remained expressionless. Squinting his eyes, he deliberately glanced at the other's name tag and said,
Director what can I do for you?
Ha ha ha. Nothing to teach you. You're the doctor who managed to cure Countess Rose, the one she personally praised. I'm afraid it won't be long before my position as director is yours.
He wanted to kill this human 1,000 times over, yet his face wore a slightly flattering expression.
Not simple. This guy definitely has a big problem.
Yin Cheng instantly made a judgment in his heart. He deliberately played along and said,
Oh, not at all. You flatter me, director. I'm just a tiny bit more skilled than the other doctors here. It's nothing worth mentioning.
His eye twitched uncontrollably. He thought to himself,
Damn, give you a compliment and you actually start puffing up. But then again, Yin Cheng being this arrogant actually suited his plans perfectly. That makes him easier to use, doesn't it? That's right.
He couldn't be bothered to keep up the insincere flattery. He got straight to the point.
A longtime patron of the 3rd Hospital needs a suitable arm as a replacement. Countess Rose has verified your exceptional medical skills, so I want to give you a chance to prove yourself.
So you mean, director,
to go to the morgue and select a suitable arm for that important patron? With your superior medical expertise, your judgment is surely better than ours. So, whether that patron continues to hold the 3rd Hospital in high regard is now in your hands.
He put on a very sincere look. If Yin Cheng didn't have his insight, he would have been completely fooled. Lena behind him didn't say anything, meaning what he said was true. The important patron probably does exist. However, the information fed back by his insight was that, in a place like the morgue, there was actually a ghoul present. That didn't seem like a normal operation at all. However, just as Yin Cheng was about to find an excuse to casually decline, the voice of the horror game suddenly rang out.
Congratulations, lucky player Yin Cheng, for successfully triggering the 3rd Hospital's hidden quest, The Secret of the Morgue. Congratulations, lucky player Yin Cheng, for successfully triggering the 3rd Hospital's chain hidden quest, The Crisis of the 3rd Hospital. Note, each completed stage of the hidden quest grants a portion of the rewards. Successfully completing all tasks will grant additional bonus rewards. All rewards will be issued during the final game settlement.
So that's how it is.
Yin Cheng suddenly understood. This was the reason his mission had never been issued. To become a specially appointed physician, one must possess medical skills that can withstand the test of ghosts. For human players, this was undoubtedly a huge difficulty. Even veteran players probably wouldn't be up to the task. Treating a cross-species was difficult enough, let alone bridging the dimension between the ordinary and the supernatural. Obtaining the identity was just the first step, and it was precisely by taking this step that one would come into contact with the 3rd Hospital's hidden quests, and also become a target for He. Crises and missions would naturally follow one after another. Accept or decline. Yin Cheng fell into brief contemplation. The rewards for the hidden quest were surely generous. The threat posed by the ghoul, for him, was likely fatal enough. Otherwise, He wouldn't be playing this game of using another's knife to kill. Yin Cheng was well aware of his current status. With Countess Rose as his backer, the ghosts in the 3rd Hospital definitely wouldn't dare to act recklessly against him. If he insisted on refusing, He would have no way to deal with him. After all, this guy didn't dare to eliminate him openly. Even using another's knife to kill was, for He, already an extremely risky move.
Once a being like Count Rose shows their true colors, they're likely to eliminate everyone involved. The reason He dares to do this is because he has no idea what Count Rose's illness is, or how serious it is.
After careful consideration, Yin Cheng pretended to ponder and said,
Since you trust me so much, director, it would be ungrateful of me to let you down over such a small matter. But here's the thing.
Seeing that the other party was about to agree, He hurriedly tried to sweeten the deal.
Don't worry. As long as you can satisfy that client, the reward won't disappoint you.
No, that's not what I meant.
Yin Cheng shook his head.
Then what?
I just want Lena to come with me, to assist me, that's all.
No problem. Lena, if you're free now, go with Dr. Yin Cheng right away.
As expected, He agreed without hesitation. A faint smile curled at the corner of Yin Cheng's mouth.
The information from inside about Lena's strength as a red-clothed vengeful spirit and its note, he hadn't forgotten. Clearly, he and the other doctors in the hospital are unaware of Lena's true power.
The morgue of 3rd Hospital is on the 3rd basement level. For certain reasons, there's no elevator here. A gloomy, chilly corridor is the only path to the morgue. In the horror world, the morgue's true purpose isn't just storing corpses. Storing bodies. Every corpse holds value for the hospital. Whether missing limbs or reduced to just a few organs, there are always some sick or otherwise incomplete ghosts who have a need for them. The morgue is essentially just a warehouse. The tap of footsteps echoed in the deserted, dark environment. Coupled with the pungent smell of disinfectant and faint, lingering odors, it could stir the purest fear in anyone's heart. Even though the corridor was empty, it always gave Yin Cheng the feeling that a terrifying, torn face might appear before him at any moment.
Lena, can you sense if there are any ghosts nearby?
After venturing deeper into the corridor, Yin Cheng stopped and asked cautiously.
No. Why? Ever since you accepted the director's task, you've seemed a bit off.
Although she was clueless about love, as a competent nurse, her observational skills were still sharp.
Lena, you're the friend I trust most in this world, so there are some things I won't hide from you.
Yin Cheng spoke slowly.
You should know that among human players, a very few awaken talents, right?
Hearing Yin Cheng's tone, treating her as one of his own, Lena felt a sweet warmth in her heart. She nodded cooperatively. Ordinary ghosts might not know such information, but Lena was different. Her inner identity, the angel of death, was no simple matter. Naturally, she knew a bit more.
My talent allows me to take certain clues and derive more useful information. From the moment I arrived at 3rd Hospital, I received a prompt from the horror game. It said your hospital had a problem, a staff shortage, hence hiring outsiders like us. But for a task like selecting limbs in the morgue, is medical skill really what's needed? From Director He's eyes, I saw something unusual. He holds a deep hostility towards me. Why would Count Rose suddenly seek me out? A newly hired special physician like me? Why did Director He come knocking right after Count Rose left? Among these seemingly faint clues, I smell a conspiracy. And my talent also deduces that Director He is highly suspicious.
Even though Lena's friendliness has reached a level of deep trust, and is gradually turning into infatuation, Yin Cheng still wouldn't easily reveal the secret of his talent, the eye of insight. He changed the meaning, watering it down countless times before telling Lena.
So it's that guy, he?
With her love-struck brain activated, Lena showed no intention of refuting Yin Cheng. She didn't even have a shred of doubt.
Lena, you seem to know something.
Not really.
Lena responded awkwardly.
I've been at 3rd Hospital for a long time, but I'm just a nurse with a little authority, a lot of things. That guy, he won't let me get involved.
Yin Cheng. An answer with no substance, but it showed unconditional trust in him.
Can you tell me specifically, what exactly has been happening at 3rd Hospital? What is the problem you're facing? What is it?
Physicians, orderlies, and morgue porters, even including patients. Recently at 3rd Hospital, people keep mysteriously disappearing.
Lena shrugged her shoulders, with a helpless expression.
Plus, with Count Rose coming repeatedly for treatment, we're even more short-staffed.
Wait, disappearing?
Yin Cheng seized the key point.
Just human players? Or including ghosts?
Both, I guess. Not a single human player so far has left 3rd Hospital alive. But don't worry, with me here, you'll definitely be safe, Yin Cheng.
Lena patted her vast, generous bosom, causing a wave of fluctuations, a tempting sight. But Yin Cheng had no time to appreciate it now. Disappearances. No human player leaves alive. The greedy ghost, the ghoul in the morgue. One clue after another, seemingly unrelated, swirled rapidly in Yin Cheng's mind. He felt he was just missing a little information to solve the puzzle, to completely unravel 3rd Hospital's secret. Suddenly, Yin Cheng had a flash of insight.
Lena, what about 3rd Hospital's director?
That old man, the director? Ever since he came back from a trip outside, he's been holed up in his private office, and hasn't come out for a long time. He strictly forbids anyone from barging in. It seems he touched upon the threshold of breaking through to the Bloody Robe realm.
He's in seclusion? What a coincidence. Is there a deputy director or something?
No. 3rd Hospital's hierarchy is simple. Just the director, the department head, physicians, and nurses, and some miscellaneous workers.
So that means, he is currently in charge of everything, right?
Yin Cheng's eyes grew even brighter. Lena pondered for a moment.
Actually, there are 3rd Hospital's shareholders. But they rarely interfere with hospital affairs. They basically just collect the money.
The moment her words fell, all the clues in Yin Cheng's mind suddenly connected. He is 100% the mastermind behind the scenes sabotaging things at the 3rd Hospital. The greedy ghost values money above all else. With a title like Director of the 3rd Hospital, and with the hospital director in seclusion as the premise, the opportunities he has to manipulate things are truly far too many. The so-called disappearances are most likely he silencing people to keep his secret hidden. That's all it is. Outside human players must go through the game's tasks. This leads to a certain possibility that they might come into contact with He's secret money-making scheme. To eliminate any chance of exposure, the third hospital has become a graveyard for human players. No matter how careful they are, He will eventually assign them some impossible, fatal tasks. Like the ghoul in the morgue, or the gluttony ghost in Ward 3. Each one is deadly enough to ensure players never leave alive. With the third hospital under He's control, how could the players possibly resist? Verifying this speculation is also simple. The matter of the ghoul was something Yin Cheng learned through his insight eye. Of course, he can't tell Lena directly. However, if Lena were to catch the ghoul that shouldn't be in the morgue, then everything would become much simpler. A faint smile curled at the corner of Yin Cheng's mouth. With the help of the insight eye, he could directly see through the saboteur behind the scenes at the third hospital, find out who the BOSS is, and then work backwards. Naturally, everything becomes much simpler. The only thing to do now is to use Lena's hand to expose the truth, and complete this so-called chain of hidden tasks.
Lena, I've made some deductions, but to verify them, I'll need your cooperation.
A sharp glint flashed in Yin Cheng's eyes. He said slowly,
What do you need me to do? Just tell me.
Lena was as straightforward as ever.
It's simple. I just need.
Yin Cheng leaned in closer. His breath brushed against her delicate earring, and he began to whisper. Lena trembled slightly. She resisted the strange feeling and didn't pull away. Her jade-like cheeks were already flushed red. When he finished speaking, Lena let out a long sigh of relief, yet felt an inexplicable sense of loss.
Got it?
Lena's lively eyes blinked rapidly. She said somewhat weakly,
It seems. I didn't quite catch all of it.
Then let me explain it to you more carefully. We still have plenty of time.
Yin Cheng didn't mind at all spending some alone time with Lena.
Okay.
A slightly odd smile appeared at the corner of Yin Cheng's mouth. He leaned close to her ear again and began to explain. A moment later,
Did you get it this time?
Sorry. I think I still missed some details. It's fine.
I'll just explain it again.
Yin Cheng said with a gentle smile. Lena proactively leaned closer, looking all ears. Half an hour passed quietly. Only then did the man and the ghost, with tacit understanding, proceed one after the other, keeping some distance. Just as they were about to enter the morgue, Lena's figure gradually faded from sight, leaving only Yin Cheng alone, moving slowly through the dark and icy cold morgue. Silence. Orderly rows of body carts and rows of freezer cabinets storing the corpses. Someone with a weak stomach placed in an environment like this would probably flee for their life within minutes. Yin Cheng was no exception. But with Lena secretly protecting him, he didn't feel too panicked.
Finding a suitable arm is just a pretense. Using the ghoul's hand to get rid of me is the real goal. So then, the ghoul in the morgue is most likely also here because he deliberately allowed it. He might have even put it here himself. That way, even if the dean emerges from seclusion as a bloody robe-level vengeful spirit, the ghoul becomes the perfect scapegoat. Looking at it this way, the ghoul probably knows very little, maybe nothing at all.
Yin Cheng analyzed the situation in his mind. His steps remained steady and unhurried. Beside him, on the body carts, lay one mutilated, incomplete body after another, their appearances twisted and fierce, cold and utterly still. A complete corpse was a rare sight. Being observant, he even noticed on some of the bodies traces of what looked like bite marks. Thud. A dull sound, like a watermelon hitting the floor, suddenly echoed, making Yin Cheng jolt in alarm. A cold sweat broke out on his forehead.
Is it coming?
He knew perfectly well there were no watermelons in the morgue, or anything like that. So what fell to the ground could only be a severed limb from a corpse. Rolling. The sound of something round rolling on the floor. In the pin-drop silence, it was unnervingly clear. Yin Cheng looked toward the sound. His pupils contracted slightly. On the floor, a hollow-eyed head, gnawed down to scraps of flesh, was smeared with blood and some unknown viscous fluid. A gruesome sight. Those empty eye sockets happened to meet Yin Cheng's gaze, making the hair on the back of his neck stand up. Safe or not, human fear isn't so easy to shake off. Special appointed physician, Yin Cheng focused completely, scanning his surroundings with extreme vigilance. The sound of droplets hitting the floor. Following the sound, the droplets falling to the ground were the same viscous fluid as on the nearly devoured head.
Up there.
Yin Cheng's body jerked backward. His eyes quickly locked onto a figure blending into the darkness on the ceiling. The ghoul's attack was far faster than he imagined. Emaciated, skinless, its dark red muscles coated in a black, sticky fluid. As it drew near, a wave of foul stench almost hit him in the face. Wanderer. No faction allegiance. Nameless race, ghoul friendliness. Strength, malicious ghost preference, devouring corpses. Weakness, head, intellectually challenged, aka, brain dead. Current status, it seems somewhat interested in you, and deliberately tossed you its leftover head, wanting to see if you'd join it for a meal. care to make a friend who's not much to look at? It felt like a flock of crows circled overhead. Caw, caw, bringing with them an awkward chorus, and a string of ellipses. For a moment, Yin Cheng felt utterly exhausted.
The dead's allure talent has taken effect. Finally, there's one that doesn't immediately want to kill me. But, it seems a bit too friendly, doesn't it? Who the hell wants to eat with you? And it's leftovers, no less. Can you come down?
He subtly waved his hand behind his back, signaling Lena in the shadows not to show herself yet.
Grr.
The ghoul hanging from the ceiling lets out a hoarse, strange sound, as if in response, or perhaps somewhat puzzled.
All right. Looks like communication is impossible. He really is meticulous. Even if this thing gets caught, it knows nothing. It's the perfect scapegoat.
Yin Cheng sighed helplessly. At that moment, the ghoul on the ceiling moved slightly, and landed on the ground nimbly and lightly. Yin Cheng instantly became alert. A neutral ghoul, he couldn't guarantee it wouldn't attack him. Besides, some ghosts, even without hostility, their special aura or factors can be lethal. The next second, the ghoul's action made Yin Cheng's brain freeze on the spot. The ghoul, holding its mucus-covered head, tentatively offered it toward him. Dark red flesh, a mucus-covered face, pitch-black eyes terrifying. But at this moment, they seemed to carry a hint of ingratiation. Yin Cheng's heart stirred. Under Insight's observation, the ghoul's state had changed somewhat. It hadn't given up on inviting him to eat. In fact, it was even more enthusiastic. Even more absurdly, the ghoul's friendliness had directly changed to a friendly status. For a moment, Yin Cheng felt utterly baffled. At this very moment,
This ghoul has some issues. It's a freak among its kind, probably used to being shunned. Your calm demeanor seems to have earned its favor.
This explanation made Yin Cheng breathe a slight sigh of relief. He almost suspected his lure of the dead talent had some non-human tendencies. Soon, his attention shifted to the ghoul family Lena mentioned. Originally, Yin Cheng thought ghouls were just low-level ghosts. But now, things didn't seem so simple.
It seems the deaths of human players in the morgue were caused by it. Should we kill it?
Lena's voice still echoed in his ear, viewing it from a friend's perspective. 2 tiers above the ghoul, killing it would be far too easy for her.
No rush.
Yin Cheng murmured. This ghoul clearly has intellectual issues, so he could safely talk to Lena.
What's this ghoul family you mentioned? In the human world, there's no intel on that.
Most ghosts in the horror world exist alone, but some have strong racial traits. Ghouls are one of them.
Are they strong?
No. In fact, 99% of ghouls are just the lowest level ghosts. However, within a large population, exceptions always arise.
Lena's voice carried a hint of awe as she continued.
As far as I know, the ruler of the ghoul race is a terrifying being of the unspeakable level.
Unspeakable?
A flicker of confusion passed through Yin Cheng's eyes. He became intensely interested in this new term. The information provided by players in the human world had never mentioned this term. In Yin Cheng's understanding, the bloody robe wraith seemed to be the limit of what they could encounter.
Ghosts that have reached that level, even if you are separated by endless distance, if their name is spoken, they might sense it and unleash terror. That's why they are called unspeakable. You can think of them, but you must not speak of them. To speak is to invite a response.
When mentioning ghosts of the unspeakable level, Lena's eyes held a trace of yearning. But from her expression, Yin Cheng didn't see even a hint of fear. A terrifying ghost beyond the bloody robe wraith level for a red robe wraith like her only inspired awe, not fear. Combined with what Countess Rose said about the big shot behind Lena, and Lena's own peculiarities, it wasn't hard to guess. Her interphase clan, the Death Angels, must have at least one being of the unspeakable level.
Getting sidetracked. I should focus on how to handle the current problem.
Yin Cheng reined in his wandering thoughts. His gaze fell back on the deformed ghoul. He mused.
The biggest problem is the lack of communication.
The ghoul remained in its pose, holding out the human head. In its large, pitch-black eyes, there seemed to be a look of longing, ugly, deformed, and foolish. In the horror world, he's the type everyone, human and ghost alike, avoids. From his eyes, Yin Cheng read a longing for friendship.
If you ignore the ghoul's overwhelming stench, its terrifying appearance, and the rotten head it's holding. Alright, there's just no way this thing is cute.
Even trying to make itself look less off-putting seems like a monumental task for this ghoul.
But then again, I'm not exactly ordinary either.
Yin Cheng took out the rubber gloves he had prepared specifically for this occasion, and put them on. Then, suppressing his disgust, he took the foul, grotesque head that seemed designed to trigger human fear by a few strands of hair.
While I don't eat this stuff, thanks for the thought.
Seeing the obvious joy in the ghoul's pitch-black eyes, regardless of whether it understood, Yin Cheng politely said this. The reason for accepting the ghoul's goodwill was simple.
Yin Cheng believed his special talent, Lure of the Dead, and his god-tier unique talent, Eyes of Insight, could pave a new path no other player had ever walked. The horror game in the eyes of countless human players meant slaughter, death, survival, and struggle. But for him, it was different. Others are playing a survival game. Him? He wants to turn it into a heartwarming, feel-good game. What's so good about fighting and killing all day? As the saying goes, the more friends you have, the more paths you have. With many friends, the road is easier. Why can't humans and ghosts be friends? It can't be just because they're ugly, smelly, and creepy, right? That's no reason to look down on them. Yin Cheng considered himself a man of noble character. A person of character would never look down on anyone, human or ghost, because of their flaws. It's definitely not because there are unspeakable big shots within the ghoul family, and he wants to use this chance to get closer. Absolutely not. Furthermore, with the precedent of Lena's dual nature, who's to say that a ghoul, so deformed even other ghosts rejected, might not possess some unique talent unknown to ordinary people? Special physician. Building good karma can't hurt, right? Besides, this peculiar little thing is just a pawn being used by He. What does it matter if it ate some leftover limbs deliberately left out? The goods that He guy embezzled are worth who knows how many times more than what was eaten. Special physician. Besides, what does the third hospital's loss have to do with him? Lena is just a nurse. If this matter is ever settled,
it won't fall on her head. Looking at the information fed back by Insight,
the ghoul's friendliness had already risen to the trust level. Even Yin Cheng found it a bit unbelievable. Just that small gesture of accepting the head actually made the ghoul skip the amiable level entirely, directly boosting its friendliness to trust. Wow.
How pathetic must it be to be like this? Yin Cheng was speechless. Next, after some effort, Yin Cheng, through words and gestures, finally made the ghoul understand his meaning. It obediently followed behind him, casually tearing off a rotting arm from a corpse cart and munching on it as it walked. The scene was horrifying, but Yin Cheng remained calm. After dealing with the ghoul, the task He gave him naturally had no more difficulties. The cautious plan the Master and Lena had discussed and prepared ended up being useless. However, after opening one freezer door after another in the morgue, Yin Cheng's face gradually darkened. 9 out of 10 freezers were empty. The remaining one only had scraps of skin and hair left. His gaze swept over the rows of morgue freezers.
He had no desire to open any more. Given the near-insane greed of the money-grubbing ghost He, without a doubt, those freezers were probably in a similar state. An entire morgue had been embezzled into this state by He. It's hard to imagine to what extent the third hospital, under his temporary control for so long, had been depleted. And He's personal assets
must have grown to a terrifying level. Gradually, Yin Cheng's eyes narrowed slightly. A strange light flickered in his deep pupils. Ghost coins. In the world of horror,
the only circulating currency. It's also the basic reward
for human players completing game missions. With enough ghost coins, you can buy items in the horror game shop to increase your chances of survival. As a new player, although Yin Cheng had unlocked a hidden quest, but he believed that the ghost coins obtained this way would likely be extremely limited, and could not withstand the mall's money-devouring beast. At the very least, compared to He's wealth, the difference was probably not insignificant. This is tricky. Yin Cheng frowned slightly, feeling somewhat troubled. Killing He was simple, but to under the premise of completing the hidden task, successfully seize his vast fortune, and then finish him off without being discovered, was no simple matter.
A greedy ghost, who values money above life.
This was the information fed back by the Eye of Insight.
In order to amass wealth by exploiting the third hospital, He's methods were utterly ruthless. He didn't just target human players, even the hospital's own staff, and even patients, fell victim to his cruelty.
Faced with such a maniacal, greedy ghost, Yin Cheng had no doubt about what choice he would make between money and his life. Forget it. This matter couldn't be rushed. The immediate priority was still to complete the task first. The secret of the hidden task, the morgue, namely the ghoul, had already been dealt with. Now, all that was needed was to select an arm, and the task could be completely finished. However, he glanced around,
surveying the area. The body freezers in the morgue were already completely empty. Only a few scattered corpses lying on the mortuary carts remained, and even those were all mangled and tattered.
The so-called big client would definitely require a perfect replacement. If he chose a mangled one, it wasn't hard to imagine that after the big client's fury, Yin Cheng would likely be pushed out as the scapegoat. Ha! Truly worthy of a treacherous, greedy ghost. One task, and a double-edged trap. Ruthless. A flicker of killing intent flashed in Yin Cheng's eyes. If it weren't for the task and He's substantial fortune, he truly wouldn't have wanted to wait a single moment before charging over to kill him. After narrowing his eyes and pondering for a moment,
his gaze fell upon the severed arm being gnawed on by the ghoul, already pitted and utterly disgusting.
A half-formed plan gradually began to take shape. Stop eating. Yin Cheng uttered a low command. The ghoul, whose friendliness had already reached the heart-to-heart level, obediently stopped its feeding action.
Its pitch black, large eyes looked at him somewhat puzzled.
That's right. When Yin Cheng spent time communicating with the ghoul earlier, its friendliness skyrocketed, reaching a heart-to-heart level. Not being very bright, it was utterly obedient to Yin Cheng. Of course, it had to be able to understand first. Come on out. No need to hide. Yin Cheng waved towards Lena's hiding spot.
Upon hearing this, Lena obediently revealed herself, seeing the suddenly appearing nurse. A fierce glint instantly flashed in the ghoul's pitch-black eyes. Grr. A low, muffled sound came from the ghoul's mouth, carrying a warning tone. Its slime-covered body crouched low, and shockingly, sharp black claws sprouted from its hands and feet. It positioned itself in front of Yin Cheng, its bizarre body poised to strike. It seemed ready to charge forward at any moment, and tear the seemingly fragile nurse before it to shreds. Stay calm. Lena's on our side. Not caring if the ghoul understood, Yin Cheng walked over to Lena's side, as if to demonstrate their friendship to the ghoul. He even gave Lena a very intimate, full embrace. Her overly pale face instantly flushed bright red. Lena's body tensed up so much that it began to tremble slightly. It was hard to imagine that someone with her mature, domineering aura could be so reserved in this aspect. She was completely at Yin Cheng's mercy. Grr. The ghoul's hostility gradually faded. It let out a sound that seemed slightly confused.
Seeing this, Yin Cheng nodded in satisfaction. The ghoul might be a bit dumb, but it was a true friend to him. At the slightest sign of trouble, regardless of the enemy's strength, it would really go for it. After calming the ghoul's emotions, Yin Cheng didn't let go of the arm wrapped around Lena. Instead, he leaned in close and whispered, I have a new plan. I need your cooperation, Lena. Even though no one else was around, he put on an act of being cautious and careful. His intention was obvious to anyone with eyes. It was nothing more than taking advantage of the situation.
Unfortunately, Lena, with her love-struck brain activated, understood none of these little schemes. What plan? Tell me.
The task he gave me is a dead end. The bodies in the morgue were long ago stolen and sold off by him. What's left are just severed limbs. None of them are usable. Speaking of which, a surge of killing intent rose in Yin Cheng's heart again. His voice turned several degrees colder.
In Lena's eyes, a similar murderous glint flickered. In her heart, he had already been sentenced to death.
That big client he mentioned, you know about him, right, Lena?
I know.
Can you contact him? Discreetly. Without he finding out. Yes.
I can. What do I need to do?
Lena asked obediently, completely lacking the terrifying aura of a red-dressed vengeful spirit in others' eyes.
Excellent. Lena, you really are my lucky star.
Yin Cheng didn't spare his praise. He gave a thumbs up. Then, he began to lay out his plan in detail. He can't be killed for now. However, I can use the resources I currently have to give him a little trouble first, and at the same time, cast a line for he. A greedy ghost values wealth above all. The only way to hook him is with sufficiently astonishing riches. That so-called big client is the perfect choice, isn't he? Also, the connection with Count Rose needs to be utilized.
In the office, he leisurely toyed with a blood-stained scalpel. In his mind's eye, he seemed to see Yin Cheng lying in a pool of blood, becoming a delicious meal for the ghoul. A bloodthirsty smile hung on his face. He had already begun calculating how to handle the aftermath of Yin Cheng's death. But just then, bang, bang, bang.
Urgent knocking came at the door, followed by the anxious shout of a werewolf doctor. Something terrible has happened. Director.
What is it? Come in. What's with all the panic?
The werewolf doctor hurriedly pushed the door open. His first words were, Director, your arm is going to be lost.
What the fuck?
He was completely baffled. His eyes behind the lenses were filled with confusion. His face darkened.
What nonsense are you talking? What do you mean my arm is going to be lost?
It's that big client. He specifically requested to transplant your arm.
At this moment, the werewolf looked like a husky, panting heavily, and spoke with some fear. Boom. He felt as if a thunderbolt had struck his head.
How could this be?
His mind went completely blank. His lips trembled. For a good while, he couldn't utter a complete sentence. In the office, he was still reeling from the thunderous shock, unable to regain his senses, when a rapid knocking sounded at the door again. The knocker didn't seem to intend to wait for a response from the ghost inside, and simply pushed the door open. He instinctively looked over. In an instant, his pupils shrank to pinpoints. A cold, murderous intent spilled out uncontrollably. It made the werewolf doctor, who only had the strength of a malevolent ghost, shiver involuntarily. For some reason, although he sensed the other's killing intent, Yin Cheng was not intimidated by his peak ferocious ghost aura.
Chief, what are you doing? I haven't offended you, have I?
Upon hearing this, he suddenly snapped back to reality. He forcibly suppressed the anger, killing intent, and confusion in his heart.
Weren't you supposed to go select the limbs the customer needed? What is this?
It's like this. I found that in the morgue, for some reason.
Before he could finish, cold sweat broke out on He's forehead. He cursed his own stupidity in his heart. How could he ask such things in front of the werewolf doctor? Wouldn't that expose the secret of the morgue? Never mind that for now. What's going on with him? How dare you bring a ghoul into the morgue? Yi pointed at the ghoul following behind Yin Cheng, emitting a foul stench, and hideously ugly, and shouted. The skill of preemptive strikes and shifting blame was clearly second nature to him. Regardless of why Yin Cheng wasn't killed by the ghoul, and even seemed to have gained its allegiance, that wasn't important. What mattered was he could seize the chance to pin a black hat right on Yin Cheng's head.
Him? A friend I just met in the morgue. It's not like I brought him in there. I'm just a human who just got here. I hardly seem capable of something like that, do I?
Yin Cheng chuckled inwardly. With one sentence, he diffused the immediate crisis. He was a player. A player who had never even set foot in the third hospital before. This point was undeniable no matter what, especially with Lena as a witness. As for the ghoul issue, if Yi wanted to frame him, that was clearly impossible. Yi frowned. With problems cropping up one after another, he had overlooked the fact that Yin Cheng was just a human player. A newcomer who just arrived, completely under their surveillance. How could he possibly have the chance to secretly find a ghoul and openly bring it into the morgue and then back out?
My apologies. Anger clouded my judgment.
Yi was quite shrewd. He immediately apologized.
But, tell me, he's a new friend of yours, right? Do you know for a ghoul to appear in the morgue what it means?
Yi shifted his angle of attack, directing his spearhead at the ghoul.
Of course I know. There isn't a single intact body left in the morgue now. Even those 3 human players seem to have already.
Yin Cheng shrugged, looking helpless. With his gloved right hand, he picked up the gnawed, incomplete arm from the ghoul's embrace and tossed it onto the desk.
See? This is the only arm I could find that's somewhat passable. Let's hope that big client isn't too picky.
Yi at Yin Cheng's words, cold sweat poured even more profusely from his forehead. The human players returning alive had made him temporarily forget about the big client specifically requesting his arm. Now that he'd snapped back to reality, Yi immediately panicked. To become the chief physician of the third hospital, his hands were naturally indispensable. Not just an arm, he wouldn't even want to lose a single finger. His status as chief physician was the foundation that allowed him to profit handsomely through the third hospital. No matter how wealthy the big client was, they couldn't possibly pay an exorbitant price for his arm. Thus, Yi naturally couldn't accept it.
Damn it. What do I do now? What should I do? That big client is not someone I can refuse.
He was going crazy inside, yet Yi couldn't think of a solution for the moment. In his agitated state, he temporarily forgot about the ghoul and Yin Cheng. However, while Yi was in no mood to deal with him, Yin Cheng wouldn't let it go. Are you kidding? Having just completed a hidden quest and received a reward of 1,000 ghost coins, he still intended to fully complete the third hospital's hidden quest and claim the final reward. As for the problem troubling Yi, it was, of course, also Yin Cheng's handiwork. The method was also simple: leverage the situation. The bloody dress fierce ghost, Countess Rose's incurable disease, was solved by Yin Cheng, and he earned her praise. This was far more reliable than advertising in the real world. With such a reputation, and with Lena able to contact that big client, so the renowned Dr. Yin Cheng to the big client, Mr. Patchwork, offered a small suggestion. And then, well, that's how Yi ended up in his current state. And this was only the first step of Yin Cheng's plan. Severing one of Yi's arms was never the ultimate goal. It was merely bait to make him panic and fall further into the trap. During this process, Yin Cheng only needed to indulge Yi's desire to get rid of him, going with the flow to complete the quest. When Yi finally couldn't sit still any longer, Lena, the third hospital nurse, would personally play the trump card. By then, Yi would have no choice but to take the bait. A greedy ghost values wealth above all else. The thing he cherishes most is also his fatal weakness. Yin Cheng eagerly anticipated the day the greedy ghost would be torn to shreds by the furious Mr. Patchwork. But before that,
Director He, I've done my best with the material selection task. Do you think I can go back to work now?
A timely reminder bringing Yi back to reality. A shadow flickered briefly in his eyes.
Not yet. The third hospital is currently experiencing a shortage of staff. Those patients whose conditions aren't too severe can be handled by the other doctors. You are the doctor who cured the Rose Earl. Good steel should be used on the cutting edge, right?
Yin Cheng cooperatively raised his head. A smile appeared on his face.
The third ward bed 108 on the 4th floor has a long-term patient. Since his surgery, he has been feeling unwell. He's been at the third hospital for a long time without being cured. Perhaps you could take a look?
Since Director He says so, I'd like to see what kind of illness has dragged on for so long without being cured.
Yin Cheng pretended to be interested, and readily agreed.
Oh, right, if the patient in the third ward is resolved, I have some more here.
Yi was smarter this time, seeming to want to be even more cautious to completely eliminate Yin Cheng. He actually rattled off several patients needing treatment. At Yin Cheng's ear, the prompts from the horror game also sounded continuously. The hidden tasks that should have been linked one after another seemed, due to his bizarre actions, to be dumped out all at once.
Goodbye, Director He.
After happily accepting a total of 5 hidden tasks, Yin Cheng left with a radiant face, calculating at 1,000 ghost coins per task. That's a whopping 5,000 ghost coins about to be earned. For human players this could be considered a huge fortune. Most veteran players probably don't have that many ghost coins in their hands. To survive, spending ghost coins is inevitable. The horror games shop is a money sink. Most players' mission rewards are basically consumed there. So once all the hidden tasks are completed, Yin Cheng, could also transform into a hidden tycoon in the human world. In the real world, one ghost coin can exchange for 100,000 cash. It's scarce and highly valued. Its worth is evident. On Yin Cheng's side, he left gracefully with the ghoul. Yi's expression, however, remained grim. It was frighteningly dark. He turned and picked up the phone on the side, dialing the number of that important client. Ring. The call connected.
Hello, is this Mr. Ralph?
I am Mr. Ralph's servant. What is the matter?
It's like this, I am the third hospital's chief physician. I have a question.
No need to ask. Mr. Ralph said his decision will not change. That's it.
The cold voice didn't wait for Yi to finish speaking, and hung up the phone. Listening to the busy tone ringing from the receiver, Yi's eyes filled with anger and resentment and unprecedented panic. If it were just a peak red-clothed ghost chimera, Yi wouldn't be so terrified. He sits in this position and does have some connections. But the problem Ralph's father, the one who personally created the chimera Ralph, his power is even more terrifying than the Rose Earl.
No. I can't just sit and wait for death. Right, I can still contact them.
Yi's eyes shifted, thinking of his partner. He was able to steal resources from the third hospital for a long time and sell them off. Of course, he would have a sales channel. And the guy behind this channel, his background is certainly not simple either. While Yi desperately tries to find connections to save his own arm, Yin Cheng has already arrived at the third ward. At the door of the patient corresponding to the hidden task, Lena remains hidden beside him. The ghoul obediently follows behind him. He doesn't rush in. Instead, through the small window on the ward door, he first observes using insight. Because it's a special patient, the ward only houses one bloated giant, who is frantically stuffing his face, shoving everything edible he can see into his mouth, skipping chewing and swallowing directly. It's unsettling to watch.
Third hospital patient, kid, race, gluttonous ghost, friendliness, neutral. He just hasn't noticed you. When he sees you, he'll definitely want to eat you. Strength, peak evil ghost. Likes, gluttony, weakness. Poisoning a glutton is way too easy. Current status, hungry, so hungry, too hungry. The gluttonous ghost isn't insatiable, but someone, to profit. Placed a hidden small teleportation array on his stomach pouch, so everything he eats gets transferred to the garbage dump. Of course, he can't get full. Destroying the teleportation array solves the problem.
Looks like this guy must also be Yi's handiwork, no doubt.
While Yin Cheng feels speechless, he also admires Yi's money-making mind. Setting up a teleportation array on a gluttonous ghost's stomach pouch, making it impossible for him to ever get full. That's ruthless. In this way, the food provided by the hospital and the consultation fees would be endless. Ruthless, truly ruthless. Profitable, truly profitable. Even capitalists would weep.
Lena.
Here.
This big guy doesn't look friendly. You help me restrain him. I'll diagnose.
Okay.
Concise. Yin Cheng doesn't plan to waste too much time, directly resorting to forced treatment.
Lena's strength as a red-cloaked fierce ghost naturally overwhelms the gluttonous ghost kid. The scalpel gleams coldly, with the thread hanging right before his forehead.
No matter how hungry he is, the gluttonous ghost dare not act rashly. Before getting full, he obviously still doesn't want to die. Yin Cheng puts on gloves, pretending to diagnose by checking the pulse. The gluttonous ghost's outrageously bloated, greasy-covered hand. He doesn't want to touch it directly.
Mr. Gluttonous Ghost. Diagnosis complete. Your stomach pouch has a minor issue. Don't worry. It's easy to fix. You won't be plagued by hunger constantly anymore.
Really, doctor?
Kid is instantly ecstatic. His gaze towards Yin Cheng holds no trace of hostility. Instead, it's filled with eager longing. His massive body, like a mountain of flesh, shifts, making the hospital bed beneath him creak.
Don't worry. Just a minor surgery.
Yin Cheng confidently replies, and calls Lena over, briefly informing her of the situation.
No biggie. I can handle it without surgery.
A seductive smile graced Lena's face. Her slender, pale fingers moved with a fluid grace, tracing a perfect arc through the air. A scalpel hung suspended, under the control of Lena's ghostly energy. It shot forth a chilling gleam. It pierced with pinpoint accuracy through the gluttonous ghost's thick layer of fat. The teleportation array within its stomach, under the assault of that cold light, instantly shattered, rendered completely useless. After this simple action, Lena gave Yin Cheng a nod.
Yin Cheng was slightly taken aback, but after a moment's thought, he didn't find it strange.
Just opening a hole in the belly. That really doesn't count as surgery. In the world of ghosts, nothing's too weird. Give it a try. Now you should be able to eat your fill.
Yin Cheng pointed to the side of the gluttonous ghost, where a mountain of bizarre food was piled. Kid couldn't wait any longer. He immediately grabbed a handful of food and threw it into his mouth, swallowing it down without even chewing. 1 bite, 2 bites. Over 10 minutes later, Yin Cheng's eye twitched involuntarily. Looking at the gluttonous ghost lying on the ground, who had completely crushed the hospital bed, he almost thought Lena had messed up. Fortunately, after devouring the mountain of food, the gluttonous ghost finally stopped eating.
Doc. You're a miracle worker, Doc. It's been so long since I felt this satisfied. Wah.
As he spoke, Kid actually started bawling, tears and snot flowing. The friendliness meter shot straight up to trust.
Another ghost friend.
Yin Cheng nodded in satisfaction.
Though in terms of looks, he's a match for the ghoul standing quietly to the side. Not much difference there. Let's go. His problem solved. Let's hurry and treat the next one.
The horror game notification sounded. Another 1,000 ghost coins in his pocket, he was full of motivation. Just as Yincheng was about to leave with Lena.
Wait, please.
The sobbing gluttonous ghost, Kid, called out to stop them. Yincheng turned back, looking at the gluttonous ghost with some confusion.
Something else wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. I'm so grateful, Dr. Yincheng, for solving my problem.
The gluttonous ghost wiped his tears as he reached into the pocket of his bloated pants, fumbling for something. After a moment, a small box was pulled out.
Kid, may not be much, but I understand gratitude.
The gluttonous ghost said in a muffled voice.
You solved what could have haunted me for life. In return, please accept this little thing. I hope it can be of some help to you.
Yincheng was speechless. His expression grew slightly complex. This time, he took off his glove. He didn't refuse. With a smile, he accepted the small, greasy box from the other's hand.
Thank you.
Yincheng replied with gratitude.
Don't mention it, you've earned it.
The gluttonous ghost gave a simple, honest laugh, scratching his head and ear, seeming a bit embarrassed.
Oh, right.
As if remembering something.
The thing in the box. I'm not really sure what it does, but it looks pretty impressive. Probably a high-grade ghost artifact. If you can't use it, it should fetch a good number of ghost coins.
Yincheng's eyes instantly lit up at the words. A ghost artifact. Even if it's just a possibility, that's enough to surprise him. So-called ghost artifacts are not like those mass-produced magic tools you find in cultivation novels. In fact, in the world of horror, ghosts and monsters are terrifying not just because of their frightening and grotesque appearances.
More importantly, it's because ghosts possess superdimensional powers that humans cannot comprehend.
Ghost artifacts are special items that can only be born in such a supernatural dimension as the world of horror. How powerful they are is hard to say, but their rarity is a given.
Lena's current strength is already considered upper mid-tier, yet even she can't obtain a ghost artifact. Her scalpel is just an ordinary item. Even with an unspeakably powerful being backing her up, it's still not possible.
The thing is, you can't find one just by being strong. It depends on luck and whether the artifact will acknowledge you. That's right. It's never the master who chooses the artifact. It's the artifact that chooses its master. Otherwise, even if you get one, it's just a useless ornament. Forcing it to acknowledge you simply doesn't work. Ghost artifacts aren't living beings with wills, yet they acknowledge masters by specific rules. It's enough to drive both humans and ghosts crazy. In Yin Cheng's memory, in the human world, there seemed to be a very few lucky individuals who gained a ghost artifact's acknowledgement. They became the envy of any of all, as top-tier players, with combat power rivaling ghosts.
Holding the small box in his hands, Yin Cheng's eyes burned with a faint heat.
Tell me, who wouldn't want a ghost artifact? To gain the power to protect oneself, and not have to rely solely on others for shelter. Whether there's a ghost artifact inside or not, I accept your gift. If fate allows us to meet again in the future, if you have need, I will do my utmost to help.
Yin Cheng spoke calmly, making a promise to the gluttony ghost.
For a drop of kindness, he may not be able to return it with a flood, but doing his best is possible. Not to mention, if there really is a ghost artifact in the box, that's no longer just a drop of kindness. It would be an incredibly heavy gift. Returning a promise is also part of Yin Cheng's principle for dealing with people and making friends.
Great. With your word, Doctor, I'm relieved. If I get sick in the future, I'll definitely come find you.
The gluttony ghost responded happily. In his view, an unusable ghost artifact was something he gave out of gratitude anyway. Now it's even earned him a promise from a renowned doctor like Yin Cheng. That's already an extra gain. Of course he's happy about it. After bidding farewell to the grateful gluttony ghost, Yin Cheng wasn't in a hurry to head to the next mission station. Instead, he and Lena found a secluded spot. After making sure no one was watching, he opened the small box from the gluttony ghost.
An eyeball.
Yin Cheng was slightly startled.
Such a strange aura.
Lena frowned slightly. Her delicate face showed a hint of caution. Inside the small box, a blood-red vertical pupil, about the size of a marble. It emitted an eerie glow. The eyeball was like a perfect gemstone, embedded into a ring. Strangely, that vertical eye seemed alive, slowly rotating on the ring, and met Yin Cheng's gaze.
Yin Cheng felt a bit unnerved. The pupil's eerie stare made him feel a creeping dread.
But eventually, nothing happened. No destined awakening. No artifact bonding. No unexpected events occurred. The eyeball ring lay quietly in the box, only their gazes intertwined.
Looks like This is indeed a ghost artifact. But its effects are unknown. And obviously, we can't become its master.
After calming down, Yincheng shrugged helplessly.
For a ghost artifact to bond, no contact is needed. When a ghost or human approaches within a certain distance, the artifact bonds according to its rules. If it's not the right person, it remains inert, even if it looks extraordinary. That's all it is.
Lena also showed a regretful expression. She wasn't craving the artifact.
She hoped Yincheng could bond with it to gain more power for self-protection. Because she knew clearly Yincheng was a human player. He would leave Third Hospital eventually. Here, Lena could protect him, but outside Third Hospital, everything would be uncertain.
Well, it was an unexpected find anyway. Bonding with a ghost artifact isn't easy.
Yincheng shook his head, putting aside his disappointment.
Let's go. Finish the task first. As for this thing, we'll find a way to sell it later. It could fetch a hefty sum of ghost coins.
After adjusting his mindset, Yincheng held Lena's arm, like a perfect pair, heading towards the next station. Advancing. Behind them, a hideous ghoul crawled like a guard, following quietly. In the following time, with the help of his unique divine talent, Insight Eye, Yincheng naturally succeeded effortlessly. With Lena, he swiftly resolved the remaining few patients, more or less. They were like the gluttonous ghost greed. Unlucky victims manipulated by He Yi. They gained 6,000 ghost coins, the friendship of 6 ghosts, and an extra ghost artifact. The hidden task of Third Hospital was nearing its end. But this time, it wasn't He Yi assigning the task to Yincheng. The prompt from the horror game sounded.
A series of tasks. Each step filled with lethal danger. If not for your luck as a player, you'd have faced certain death. With your sharp mind, you sensed a conspiracy. He Yi, who assigned you fatal tasks, has major issues.
As a voice-like narration echoed in Yincheng's ears, the final task was finally issued.
Final task, the crisis of Third Hospital, the seemingly calm hospital, is actually riddled with holes. Where exactly is the director who has never appeared? Doctors, patients, why are staff disappearing one after another? Why has no human player survived so far? A deadly chain of missions. The great ship of Third Hospital is about to sink due to the greed of certain individuals.
Mission requirements. Resolve the Third Hospital crisis. Time is running out. The madness of the greedy could plunge Third Hospital into ruin at any moment. Rewards will be distributed upon mission completion.
Skipping the mission briefing entirely. After reading the mission requirements, Yincheng's eyes narrowed slightly. The reminder about limited time was a bit glaring, yet, the corners of his mouth turned up slightly. He wasn't flustered at all.
The tighter the time, the more it illustrates one thing. That greedy bastard, he, has already started to panic. It's not hard to imagine, given his ruthless style of doing things, that when he sees he can't protect his position and his arm, it wouldn't be strange for him to do something crazy. Like, before fleeing Third Hospital, taking one last big score. Yincheng didn't find that strange at all. He even thought, if that guy he saw him appear before him again, completely unscathed, he'd probably be driven mad with frustration.
What are you smiling about?
Lena looked at Yincheng curiously. The voice of the horror game was something she couldn't hear. Yincheng's mission was even more unknown to her.
The horror game's final mission has been issued. Once I resolve the Third Hospital crisis, I'll be able to complete the mission and return to the world of the living.
Are you leaving?
Lena's eyes changed slightly. A flicker of reluctance passed by. But she didn't say anything more.
She knew this day would come sooner or later.
No rush. The overall mission time is a full week. I'll definitely stay with you until the last day, the very last second.
A cheesy pickup line. Yincheng delivered it without hesitation. Lena's fair face instantly flushed red. She lowered her head, not daring to meet Yincheng's gaze.
The mature, elegant ghost nurse lady was no match for him in this regard. Oh, right. Before going back to Beit Yi, we need to contact Count Rose first.
Yincheng suddenly remembered. The most crucial part of the plan, Count Rose, he hadn't even contacted yet.
But thinking about it, given how much she loves my blood, making a little sacrifice shouldn't be a big problem.
Speaking of Count Rose, there's something I forgot to tell you.
Lena smacked her forehead. She said somewhat sheepishly.
What is it?
Yincheng. Before I tell you, I hope you can brace yourself a bit.
Lena's eyes held a trace of worry. As if concerned Yincheng might not be able to handle it, Yincheng felt more and more bewildered.
Lena, just say it. I've already been dragged into the horror game to survive. What else couldn't I accept? Don't worry. It's fine.
Seeing this, Lena stopped hesitating. She told him about how Count Rose had performed the blood embrace on Yincheng. Including the Blood Clan magic circle hidden under his lab coat, which Yincheng had completely missed. Shock, stunned, confused, joy.
All these complex emotions swirled together in Yincheng's heart. He was speechless for a moment. Blood embrace. Having read many novels and watched movies, how could he not know this classic trope? Just a few hours ago, he was still a normal human. Now he had become a creature that could only survive by drinking blood. Perhaps many vampire fans would crave this. But for Yin Cheng, his considerations were more comprehensive. For survival, being turned into a vampire wasn't something he particularly resisted. The problem was he wasn't a normal player. A special talent plus a divine-level unique talent had already given Yin Cheng a solid foundation for survival. On top of that, being transformed into a blood clan member, its value and significance for him needed careful consideration. As everyone knows, vampires fear sunlight, fear holy water, fear crosses, and must feed on blood to survive. These are flaws. And fatal weaknesses. There are advantages too. Powerful regenerative abilities, and a long lifespan, and blood clan, inherited magic, etc. If he could gain these through the blood embrace, Yin Cheng would definitely leap past the newbie player tier and rise directly, becoming a top-tier existence among human players. There are pros and cons. But for Yin Cheng, the drawbacks far outweigh the temporary gains. The limitations of vampires truly displeased him. Most importantly, the vampire's blood embrace in his understanding would establish a subordinate relationship with the higher vampire. This was unacceptable to Yin Cheng.
You seem unhappy. Is it because you're no longer human?
Not that.
Yin Cheng smiled bitterly. He didn't hide it.
He directly told Lena his analysis of the pros and cons. Of course, things like inside eye he wouldn't mention.
However, after hearing Yin Cheng's words, Lena's expression gradually turned strange.
What's wrong? Is there a problem?
Yin Cheng looked at Lena's expression and asked, puzzled.
I think you've misunderstood something, Yin Cheng.
Lena spoke solemnly. Her expression turned serious.
First, the blood clan is a blood clan. Vampires are vampires. These are two completely different concepts.
Yin Cheng was baffled.
Whether in his impression or from the information players in the human world provided, the blood clan and vampires, aside from the difference in wording, were essentially the same species.
Yin Cheng, you must remember this. In the horror world, when facing nobles like Count Rose of the Blood Clan, never, ever use the term vampire to refer to them.
Lena's tone became grave.
The Blood Clan is the Blood Clan. Vampires are vampires. If you must find a connection between the two, you could think of it as the blood kindred being the royalty, and vampires are merely the servants they've branded, and the lowest kind of servants at that. Also, Yin Cheng, it seems you've projected some of your understanding of blood kindred onto the information level of vampires. The so-called weaknesses you mentioned are not entirely true, for one. Secondly, even if they were true, those would be flaws only vampires possess. The true blood kindred are one of the most elite and powerful races in the horrorverse. Their bloodline does not have the flaws you mentioned, nor does it have any so-called master-servant hierarchy. From the moment Countess Rose embraced you, Yin Cheng, were already a member of the blood kindred family.
More like a juice box, huh?
From Lena's tone, Yin Cheng detected a hint of hidden jealousy.
Of course, it's not jealousy of him becoming a blood kindred, but jealousy of Countess Rose for turning him into one. Lena lacks such transformative power.
This little thought was something Yin Cheng could see through. While completing the hidden quest with Lena, his miraculous healing skills earned her increasing admiration. Her favorability had already risen to the special level of infatuated devotion level.
The standard progression of favorability
ascends as follows: neutral, friendly, amiable, trusting, heart-to-heart, life and death comrades. Descending, it goes, hostile, murderous intent, hatred, fight to the death. Infatuated devotion is distinct from friendship, an exception that only appears under special relationships.
Wait. I have another question.
Yin Cheng thought of something. An incredulous look appeared on his face.
What is it? Countess Rose turned me into a blood kindred. But she still intends to drink my blood as food. Isn't that like? Yin Cheng felt a bit numb. The blood kindred circle seems a bit messy.
I'm not clear about that. But rumor has it that the existence of vampires seems to be a creation of the blood kindred to enjoy a steady supply of blood. It's just that there seems to have been a little mishap along the way.
Lena wore a clueless expression as she explained.
I see. Is there anything else you need to tell me? Just say it all at once. I can handle it.
There's not much else. It's just that Countess Rose left a blood kindred magic circle on your arm. You can use it to send the medicine directly to Countess Rose. You might also be able to use it to contact the Countess herself.
Lena thought for a moment. She pulled up Yin Cheng's sleeve, revealing a deep red, seal-sized magic circle. Yin Cheng stared at the circle on his arm. He zoned out for a moment.
After a brief silence, his face stiffened slightly. Some rather unpleasant ideas popped into his head. Is it possible that this magic circle can automatically draw my blood and deliver it straight to Countess Rose's mouth?
Well.
She hadn't expected Yin Cheng to come up with such a wild idea and ask that. Her delicate, pretty face tilted slightly. Lena also fell into brief contemplation. A few moments later.
Before Countess Rose left, she asked me to tell you that one course of medicine is for you to arrange as you see fit. But if she feels the treatment isn't effective enough, then
Yin Cheng immediately pulled a long face, his mood turning rather gloomy.
He increasingly felt that the magic circle Countess Rose left on him was equivalent to a straw's function taking a sip whenever she feels like it. That's just too ridiculous.
Yin Cheng, you really don't need to worry too much. I think Countess Rose must value you highly. Otherwise, she wouldn't have given you her first embrace, which she's never used before.
Seeing his dejected look, Lena couldn't help but try to comfort him. However, her attempt at comfort
backfired. Yin Cheng felt as if he had stumbled upon some truth. Why do I always feel that Countess Rose turned me into a vampire just to make me more resilient, so I wouldn't be so easily drained to death?
Both the man and the ghost fell silent. The ghoul prostrate behind them remained quietly in place, guarding Yin Cheng like a sentinel.
Forget it. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Yin Cheng shook his head, pushed aside the negative thoughts, and turned his gaze back to the magic circle. Even though it was something he'd never seen before,
he seemed to instinctively know how to operate it and activate it.
Then, the corner of Yin Cheng's mouth twitched involuntarily. First step to activate the array, shed blood.
A straw. Definitely a straw. Yin Cheng couldn't help but complain inwardly again. But he still helplessly cut his finger and let a drop of blood fall onto it.
Instantly, the magic circle erupted in a bloody light. The falling blood droplet never even reached the circle, vanishing mid-air. Elsewhere, within an ancient castle surrounded by thorny black roses, the crisp clink of wine glasses echoed through the spacious hall. The crimson liquid in the glass goblets exuded the rich aroma of grapes. Wine, another great love of vampires, shares a color similar to blood but a completely different taste, yet it is deeply cherished by them.
How rare! You actually invited me to a feast. Looks like your illness really has been cured.
Illness? What illness? I just got interested a while ago and wanted to go to the hospital to pick out some blood with a nice flavor, that's all. You're the one who misunderstood.
Picking out blood and killing the doctor on the side. After being your best friend for so many years, we know each other all too well. I'm just curious how a human managed to cure your incurable disease.
Countess Rose's eyebrows instantly shot up, the spacious, empty hall instantly turned blood red, countless blood threads, as if alive, coiled and tensed, ready to strike. The atmosphere in the room grew tense.
You investigated me.
Oh, you seem a bit tense. I've done this often before, but you've never reacted like this.
The figure in the darkness gradually revealed its true form. A small yellow talisman was pasted on its forehead. Standing at a cute height of less than 1.6 meters, it wore a lovely, well-fitted ancient official's robe and a matching official's hat. A yellow talisman partially conceals a face so exquisitely cute. Like a porcelain doll. Bright yellow, beautiful eyes are looking at Rose Countess with a probing gaze, scrutinizing Rose Countess.
Are we still besties or not? Even this little secret, you actually plan to hide it from me?
The seemingly innocent little loli. But terrifying corpse aura surges around her, transforming into numerous clawing gray claws. They confront Rose Countess's blood threads. Not intimidated at all.
Rose Countess instantly gets a bit flustered. Her elegant demeanor almost cracks. She really wants to say, "Who the hell is your bestie?" Clearly a toxic bestie. So toxic, she could spit ink. No one knows better than her how toxic this seemingly innocent, cute, adorably childish little zombie really is. To dig up her various scandals, then use them to mock her. She goes to extreme lengths. Of course, Rose Countess herself does the same plenty. Who knows how a vampire and a zombie ended up together and became toxic besties to each other.
But right now,
because of a certain man, Rose Countess lost a bit of composure, letting the toxic lowly zombie catch her slip up.
Inside the ancient castle hall, the atmosphere is tense. The vampire servants around are already used to it. Such scenes, they've witnessed too many times, from these toxic besties. Long numb to it, not feeling any surprise or fear. But today, an accident always arrives so coincidentally, when the two powerful blood-robe ghosts have their domain powers confronting each other. Rose Countess suddenly changes expression slightly. A flash of slight panic crosses her stunning face.
Because she distinctly feels the vampire magic circle she left on Yin Cheng has been triggered. If it were any other time, this wouldn't be a problem at all.
But as luck would have it,
her toxic bestie is present.
More importantly,
to satisfy some of her mischievous whims, and to savor that delicious blood again.
The magic circle left on Yin Cheng, by Rose Countess, was deliberately set, with a rule requiring a drop of blood as sacrifice.
That blood isn't for the teleportation energy cost.
Instead, as the magic circle activates, it gets teleported directly to Rose Countess. You know, Yin Cheng, with his deadly charm talent, his blood, even for ordinary ghosts, holds considerable allure. How much more so for vampires? And zombies who also love drinking blood? Gulp. The sound of stiff throat movements rises and falls in the hall. A drop of blood, radiant like red carnelian, teleports and floats before Rose Countess. Desire. Unprecedented desire. At this moment, the vampire servants, who should be intimidated by Rose Countess's vampire pressure, their hidden fangs all emerge. Their gazes seem to carry blazing hot flames, fixedly staring at that drop of blood in the air. Hoarse growls, like beasts' instincts being triggered, come from their mouths. If not for the innate suppression from bloodline hierarchy, they'd probably have already lost control and started fighting over it. Compared to the vampire servants, the seemingly innocent, cute little zombie loli is far less restrained and patient. In her bright yellow eyes, an unprecedented brilliance flashes. On their slightly stiff ceramic faces, they all wore expressions of intense longing. Whoosh! She instantly transformed into a shadowy blur, borne aloft by countless spectral claws of corpse energy, and shot forward at incredible speed. But Countess Rose was hardly unprepared. The magic circle set up by Yin Cheng was, after all, her own creation. The blood pearl that was teleported appeared right before her. With a cold sneer, her nimble, crimson tongue gave a light flick, and the fragrant aroma emanating from the blood pearl vanished as she swallowed it. Gone.
Ugh, how infuriating!
The wine glass filled with crimson liquid shattered on the spot. Countess Rose, meanwhile, regained her composure, sitting quietly in her chair and calmly watching the zombie loli throw her tantrum. She also cast a silent glance over the attendants in the hall. A long moment later, calm returned to the castle. The attendants all looked terrified, their faces deathly pale as they knelt on the floor. Their heads pressed tightly against the ground, they trembled. They were afraid. The zombie loli returned to her seat, having calmed down.
That was the human doctor's blood, wasn't it? So fragrant, an utterly intoxicating flavor. It's just a bit of a shame it carries the scent of a vampire.
I know what you're scheming. But I advise you not to. Otherwise, I will truly turn against you.
Countess Rose said coldly, her gaze clashing with the zombie loli's, not giving an inch.
And what if I say no?
Then all the years of friendship between us will likely have to end right here.
Countess Rose's voice grew several degrees colder, showing her resolve. In the zombie loli's bright yellow eyes, a flicker of surprise passed.
The taste of that blood was indeed incredibly alluring, that's true. But what she hadn't expected was that Countess Rose would turn against her completely over it.
You know, we may both be ruthless, but our bond far surpasses those who seem friendly, especially since we've been rivals for so many years, both enjoying that unique dynamic. Who would have thought that Countess Rose would go this far for a mere human?
Why? The zombie loli was puzzled. Her tone softened. She knew Countess Rose was a woman who responded to softness, not force.
No reason.
It's just a pity that this time, the zombie loli was destined not to get the answer she wanted.
For a vampire noble to admit she has an eating disorder would be more painful than death itself. Countess Rose would rather die than ever let that secret out.
No matter how much you love that wonderful blood, you shouldn't have given your first embrace to a human. It seems that human doctor is quite something. Sister Rose, just tell me, please, what little secret are you hiding from me?
3 metaphorical black lines appeared on Countess Rose's forehead. The corner of her eye twitched uncontrollably. Before her, the petite, adorable zombie loli had somehow bounced over, taken her hand, and begun her act of cute pleading. If she didn't know better, it would be one thing.
But Countess Rose knew the zombie loli's true nature all too well. She might look harmless and adorable, but in reality, she's centuries older than the Countess herself. The thought of such a creature clinging to her arm and acting cute, it was just too much. Awkward as it was, Countess Rose felt a tiny bit of pride in her heart. After all, who else could make a bloody apparition-level zombie act all cute and coquettish with her? I can tell you about that doctor, but you have to promise me you won't go after him, and you won't ask him anything about me.
Unable to withstand the cuteness assault, Countess Rose finally gave in to the little zombie girl.
She intended to tell her scheming friend part of the truth. Of course, the bigger reason was that the other party had already discovered the special nature of Yin Cheng's blood. To prevent the zombie loli from secretly causing trouble behind her back, it was better to openly share some information in exchange for her promise. Scheming as the little zombie girl was, she was impeccable when it came to keeping promises. Before I tell you, let me clean up the place first.
Countess Rose withdrew her jade-like hand from the zombie loli's flat chest, her gaze turning cold as she swept it over the attendants in the hall. Snap! With an elegant snap of her fingers, the vampire attendants, whose strength was no less than that of evil spirits, were instantly reduced to crimson dust without even a struggle. A gentle breeze swept through, scattering the dust, which settled among the thorny black roses outside the ancient castle. The blooming black roses seemed to grow even more vibrant and fragrant. Morals? Non-existent. No one knew that in an instant, all the vampire attendants within the Black Rose Castle of Countess Rose had become nourishment for the roses. The cause could be traced back to a single drop of blood. If word got out, most creatures in the horror world would probably treat it as an amusing anecdote. But within the vampire clans, it would likely stir up quite a shocking commotion, Countess Rose knew well that only vampires could understand that extreme pursuit of blood, so, to avoid trouble and eliminate any future threats, Countess Rose mercilessly obliterated every single attendant within the castle.
Rose, you're so cruel. You just killed attendants who've served you for so long, just like that. Not like me. I was always so good to my former attendants.
Heh. Right, you were the best to your attendants. After all, you had them all buried with you back then.
The gazes of the two, one tall and one small, met, as if sparks were colliding in the air.
Won't argue with you. You simply don't understand what loyalty means.
I may not understand loyalty, but I know how to maintain control. I'm not like you. Some of your attendants woke up first, and instead of rousing you, they just ran away. Truly the epitome of loyalty.
The zombie Loli's greatest lifelong regret
Was getting drunk with Countess Rose and spilling her embarrassing secrets. This allowed Countess Rose to mock her for it for who knows how many years.
This is also why the zombie Loli has always been dedicated to collecting dirt on Count Rose. Birds of a feather flock together. That's normal. Life is tough. The zombie is sulking. Her dirty laundry was aired. Unless she can dig up equally damaging dirt on her, the zombie Loli will never be able to turn the tables and punish Count Rose. 3rd Hospital. Ward 5. In a quiet, sparsely populated office, Yin Cheng and Lena fell into deep thought. The ghoul remained obediently standing, as steady as a mountain. Ever since Yin Cheng offered a drop of blood to activate the magic circle, aside from the blood bead being teleported away, there had been no further reaction. It was as if it had crashed. Yin Cheng clearly felt he should be able to use the circle to contact Count Rose on the other side, but it was like making a call, and only getting a busy signal. No connection. Of course, he didn't know that because he activated the circle so quickly, it caused Count Rose's castle to undergo a thorough cleansing, and it also drew the attention of Count Rose's shady best friend. To him, before making a pact with the zombie Loli, Count Rose naturally didn't dare contact Yin Cheng lightly. Otherwise, if Yin Cheng accidentally lets something slip, the zombie Loli would probably mock her for the rest of her life. Yin Cheng and Lena waited silently like this for several dozen minutes, no choice. In the plan to deal with the greedy ghost Yi, Count Rose was a crucial piece. She was also the only powerful ally Yin Cheng could rely on right now. Time passed bit by bit amidst awkwardness and slight anxiety. Finally, the crimson magic circle emitted an eerie glow, projecting the elegant, stunning face of Count Rose and, beside her, a cute little Loli who looked like a porcelain doll.
Your daughter's already this big?
Seeing this scene, Yin Cheng couldn't resist the urge to quip. The thought slipped out. Instantly, within the projected image, Count Rose doubled over laughing. Her magnificent peaks and valleys became a dazzling sight. As for the little zombie Loli, her delicate, cute, porcelain-like face instantly darkened. The enraged zombie Loli flailed her arms and claws, fuming with rage. Her sharp, elongated fangs glinted coldly. If Count Rose hadn't been holding her back from behind, she probably would have stormed straight to the 3rd hospital to have a serious discussion with Yin Cheng about life and death. Ahem. Special physician Yin Cheng coughed awkwardly, and hurriedly used his insight eye to observe. Then, his expression stiffened. Lord of the Corpse Mound. Jiangling. Race. Friendliness. Hostile. Your words deeply offended her. Strength. Substantial. Blood-clad fierce ghost. Don't let her size fool you. Within that small frame lies terrifying power. Likes. Blood. Moonlight. Sleeping. Money grubber. Weakness. Fears extreme yang objects. If she can generate yang from extreme yin, turning misfortune into blessing, she will become a top-tier existence among the zombie race. Currently, she appears furious, baring her fangs and claws, but deep down, she's ice-cold calm. She's just using this chance to probe the relationship between Countess Rose and you. Now she has already formed some simple conjectures. Be careful. You've been targeted by a 1,000-year-old zombie.
Is it too late for me to apologize now?
Yin Cheng inwardly laughed bitterly. He just couldn't help it. His inner critic slipped out on reflex.
And as a result, he got targeted by an ancient zombie.
Fortunately, Jiangling doesn't know Yin Cheng's thoughts. Otherwise, she'd probably go from fake rage to real rage on the spot, and then hunt Yin Cheng down without restraint. Age is always the most sensitive topic for female humanoid beings. Even Countess Rose never dared to provoke her cunning best friend with a title like Ancient Zombie.
My apologies. I misunderstood. Beautiful lady. I offer my sincerest apologies.
Integrity? Yin Cheng has none. Even if he did, it's the kind he'd abandon in a heartbeat. The moment he saw Jiangling's bloody ghost-level power, he decisively chose to bow and apologize.
A man's pride lies beneath his knees, but not in his waist, only a herniated disc. If he did have any, Yin Cheng would gladly take it out and trade it for survival supplies.
In a world where the horror game has descended, he has heard and witnessed too many brutal, cruel stories.
Integrity is nothing compared to life itself.
Alright, speak. Why did you contact me so soon? Don't tell me you've already prepared the medicine for the first treatment.
It made Yin Cheng's index finger tremble involuntarily, and his legs went a bit weak.
No. The medicine for the first treatment is still being prepared. The reason I contacted you, ma'am, is because I have a great money-making opportunity I'd like to share.
Yin Cheng seized the opportunity and laid out his scheme.
There's nothing to hide.
Yin Cheng told her everything about He Yi's actions in one go. Given her status, she likely wouldn't care about the fate of the third hospital, nor how greedy He Yi is. After all, it has nothing to do with Countess Rose herself. But ghost coins are the hard currency of the horror world, and Countess Rose certainly wouldn't mind having more. After all, in the plan Yin Cheng told her, she just needs to say a few words to earn easy money. Just by opening her mouth, she can earn a pile of shiny ghost coins. Why wouldn't she? Just as Yin Cheng expected, after hearing his plan, Countess Rose looked him over with a, "this kid knows what's up," expression for a moment, then readily agreed. She even specifically left her castle's phone number for Lena, to facilitate the follow-up. However, during the explanation of the plan, there was a tiny little hiccup. The adorable zombie loli, Jiangling, insisted on participating in Yin Cheng's plan, and she successfully took a big cut of the profits. The reason is simple: among Jiangling's hobbies is a love for money. As the master of the corpse mound, she naturally has no shortage of resources. Coincidentally, Jiangling possesses the corpse of a deceased bloody ghost-level zombie. The appearance of this corpse transformed the original plan, which was to rely solely on Countess Rose's status and reputation, to win He Yi's trust. It directly shifted into using an arm from a bloody robe wraith-level zombie as bait, making the plan utterly flawless. As for the distribution of the final spoils, they adopted a 40-30-30 split. Although Jiangling joined last minute, she was able to provide the bait. That made the plan's success almost guaranteed. So her taking 40% was perfectly reasonable. As for Countess Rose, Yin Cheng borrowed her influence to set up the perfect trap. Plus, to build a good relationship and get her to temporarily slow down the treatment progress, Yin Cheng generously gave her 30% as well. The remaining 30% belonged to Yin Cheng. Lena, claiming she hadn't contributed much, refused a share. Her little scheme was clear to Yin Cheng. He didn't put on any pretenses and simply accepted Lena's goodwill.
Survival was the top priority right now. Any benefit he could get would increase his chances of staying alive. At worst, he could always repay her with affection later. With his lack of scruples, he was already prepared to become a death knight.
On the way back to the third hospital lobby, the ghost and monster patients coming and going looked at Yin Cheng with a hint of respect. None showed the usual greedy, bloodthirsty look they gave ordinary humans. Having been publicly praised by Countess Rose and demonstrated extraordinary medical skills, coupled with his lure of the dead talent, the patients in the third hospital naturally held no hostility toward Yin Cheng. Walking along, Yin Cheng was already getting used to moving among a crowd of ghosts and monsters. However, just as he was heading to the head doctor's office to report back, Yin Cheng was blocked by three figures, missing limbs, reeking of blood.
Save us. Please. Save us.
Without a moment's hesitation, the three barely standing female players dropped to their knees before Yin Cheng. Even though one of them was down to just one leg, the female player whose tongue Lena had cut out earlier was nowhere to be seen. She had most likely already fallen to the ghosts.
Save us. If you're willing to save us, we'll pay any price. We ask for nothing. We just want to live.
Their utterly miserable pleas would sadden anyone who heard them, and bring tears to the eyes of those who saw. Many of the ghosts nearby witnessing this scene were somewhat moved. Some ghosts had also had a life before. They too were once weak humans, so they could empathize. Of course, more simply watched and waited. Yin Cheng was now a celebrity in the third hospital, with considerable influence. If he really spoke up to protect them, these ghosts would be happy to do him a favor. After all, Yin Cheng's current status was that of a miracle-working doctor. Any ghost coming to the third hospital had some ailment, big or small. Rather than risk offending Yin Cheng by targeting a few fragile humans, it's better to go with the flow and do him a favor. What's not to like about that? The world of horror isn't just about fighting and killing. Social graces still need to be maintained. Facing the three female players kneeling before him, weeping pitifully, and looking utterly miserable, Yin Cheng's emotions remained largely unperturbed. He just looked at the three of them calmly, pondering something in his mind. A moment later, he had a more refined plan in mind.
Follow me.
After saying that, Yin Cheng took Lena and the ghoul straight back to his consultation room, instead of heading directly to Director He Yi's office. That guy is swamped right now and doesn't have time for me anyway. Hearing this, the three female players wept with joy, showering him with grateful words as they quickly hurried after him. In the consultation room.
For the time being, you can stay here. No ghost or monster would dare lay a hand on you in this place.
Yin Cheng sat in his chair, his back to the three female players, gazing out the window, lost in thought.
Thank you, thank you.
The female players expressed their gratitude again, huddling together trembling, yet the look of terror never left their faces. Because, reeking of foul odor, covered in black slime, and with a ferocious face, seemed very interested in them. From not far away, staring at them intently with its large, dark, hollow eyes. Lena was also toying with a sharp scalpel, eyeing them with an amused look. Ignore them. Let's keep discussing how we're going to buy the bloody ghost's arm from the Rose Countess's friend. With his back to the female players, Yin Cheng gave Lena a look and said deliberately. Although Lena could be a bit love-struck, she was usually very calm and clever, immediately understanding Yin Cheng's intention. She immediately averted her gaze and even deliberately pulled the curtain in the middle of the consultation room, isolating the 3 female players outside, putting on a cautious appearance. Yin Cheng gave Lena a thumbs up, praising her quick wit. He also deliberately lowered his voice and began conversing with Lena. Separated by the curtain and relieved from the pressure of being stared at by the ghoul and the nurse ghost, their expressions finally became less terrified, and a complex, inscrutable look appeared in their eyes. Especially after hearing the words "bloody ghost's arm" from Yin Cheng, and combined with Lena's act of pulling the curtain, the 3 of them exchanged glances and immediately pricked up their ears to eavesdrop. On one side of the curtain, Yin Cheng very naturally began deliberately discussing with Lena, in a voice just loud enough for the 3 players to faintly hear, the purchase of the bloody ghost's arm. He even made a point to mention keywords like big client, resale, and making a huge profit. A moment later, following Yin Cheng's cue, Lena swiftly pulled the curtain open. The 3 female players, huddled together as if having fainted from extreme fear and blood loss, trembled almost imperceptibly. But Lena acted as if she hadn't noticed anything.
I'll go get ready now. Be careful. Remember, you must not let Director He find out about this.
I understand.
He nodded. After giving that special instruction, Lena finally turned and walked out. As soon as the door opened, the long line of patients from the 3rd hospital outside immediately showed looks of anticipation on their faces.
Go on in. Dr. Yin Cheng happens to be free. Remember to keep order.
Lena glanced at the orderly ghosts, but still couldn't help adding coldly.
Understood.
The hanged ghost at the front of the line, with its long, drooping tongue, forced a smile onto its stiff face, putting on a well-behaved expression. Lena gave a slight nod. Then she drifted away. Yin Cheng looked at the patient who entered. His eyes of insight activated immediately. 3rd hospital patient. Cheng Wei. Race, hanged ghost. Current condition. Has long been troubled by the stiffening of its tongue. Unfortunately, the doctors at the 3rd hospital were helpless. The long tongue is a hanged ghost's lethal weapon. Increasing stiffness would weaken its power. Hence, it was especially anxious for a solution. Take nethergrass, rot bloom, and boil them with nether spring water. It can soften a ghost's flesh and blood.
Doctor, how is it? Can my tongue still be saved?
Yin Cheng finished taking the pulse. Afterwards, the hanged ghost couldn't wait to ask.
No big deal, I can treat it. Remember this prescription. Get the herbs yourself, brew them, and take it. Guaranteed to cure you.
Without any hesitation, Yin Cheng directly recited the prescription to the hanged ghost.
A miracle doctor. A miracle doctor.
The hanged ghost was extremely excited. It had visited hospital after hospital in the horror world, but none could do anything about its tongue stiffening. Yet here with Yin Cheng, just a simple prescription could easily solve the problem. How could it not be excited? As for whether it was credible or not, with the golden reputation of Countess Rose preceding him, even if it really had no effect, the hanged ghost would have to wonder if the problem was with itself. In the horror world, the deterrence of a blood-clad fierce ghost in the minds of many lesser ghosts was still very effective.
Dr. Yin, although I've already registered and paid the fee, this is a small token of my appreciation. Please accept it.
Just as Yin Cheng was about to wave the guest off, the hanged ghost pulled out from its chest a not too thick stack of ghost currency. It gently pushed it across the table toward Yin Cheng. A fawning smile still hung on its face.
Patient, you're asking me to make a mistake here.
Yin Cheng narrowed his eyes slightly. He said meaningfully. The hanged ghost was no fool. How could it not grasp Yin Cheng's implication?
My mistake, my mistake.
The hanged ghost smacked its head. This ghost money, I just picked it up off the floor. It must be yours, right, doctor? Yin Cheng nodded with satisfaction. What I admire most are people like you, who return lost property. I also enjoy making friends with ghosts of high character. The more friends, the more paths. From now on, we're friends. I might not be able to help with other problems, but when it comes to medical skills, you can rest assured.
Thank you, Dr. Yin.
The smile on the hanged ghost's face grew even brighter. Having already intended to curry favor with Yin Cheng, hearing such words naturally made him overjoyed.
Oh, right. Remember to tell the patients outside, I'm a doctor with principles. Messing up or anything like that is just not acceptable.
Before the hanged ghost left, Yin Cheng didn't forget to add this reminder. The hanged ghost understood perfectly. He patted his chest and said, "Don't worry, Dr. Yin. I get it." Yin Cheng watched the hanged ghost leave with an appreciative look in his eyes. He couldn't help but sigh inwardly. The underworld isn't just about fighting and killing. It's also about human connections.
Next.
As he called out, his peripheral vision swept over the 3 female players huddled together on a chair, pretending to be unconscious. His gaze held an inscrutable meaning.
The path has been laid out. How they walk it is up to their own choice. Some paths look like grand, open roads. But who knows if there's a cliff ahead, a fatal drop with no survivors. Other paths, bumpy and rough, seemingly plain and simple, can lead one safely forward.
The next patient to enter was a headless ghost. Yin Cheng didn't waste words. He began the consultation directly. With the divine talent of insightful eye, his diagnostic efficiency was absurdly high. Perhaps the hanged ghost's message had an effect. Every ghost that came in for treatment would, before leaving, find a sum of ghost coins, large or small. They'd hand it back to Yin Cheng. Without a doubt, in this consultation room, the only one who could drop money was definitely Dr. Yin. In about half an hour, Yin Cheng had dropped nearly 1,000 ghost coins. That was more than what some less capable players earned from completing several missions. He also made quite a few ghost friends along the way. Everyone got what they needed. It was a harmonious arrangement. When the 24th ghost patient had yet to step into the ward, Yin Cheng's eyes flickered, a trace of coldness surfaced deep in his pupils. The 3 female players pretending to be unconscious had woken up. Before Yin Cheng could continue treating patients,
Boss Yin Cheng, we just remembered we still have our own mission to complete. Even though it's safe here with you, if we don't finish the mission, we can't return to the human world.
You're so busy, boss. We're already incredibly grateful for your protection during this time. We wouldn't dare ask for more. We still need to go complete our mission. We hope we get the chance to come back here.
Another female player also spoke up, feigning sorrow.
Go ahead.
The 3 female players didn't say much more. They just expressed their gratitude again, then helped each other out. Click. With a sound, the consultation room door closed. After leaving for quite some time, in the 3rd hospital supply room, in the quiet environment, the 3 human female players wore expressions completely different from their previous respectful, grateful demeanor. The jealousy in their eyes, the greed, was written all over their faces. They didn't even try to hide it.
That guy Yin Cheng clearly has the ability to perfectly protect us, even help us complete the mission easily, but he has no intention of helping us at all. In that case, don't blame us for what we're about to do.
Among the 3, a woman with bloodstains on her face, yet still possessing a somewhat pretty appearance, clenched her one remaining arm's fist tightly. She gritted her teeth and said, the hatred in her tone was baffling.
Why does he get to live so comfortably? Just sitting there, and he gets a huge amount of ghost coins. He could have helped us. Shared some ghost coins with us. Helped us live better. But he didn't. He just watched coldly from the sidelines, putting on a hypocritical act. He has already fallen. He's clearly human, yet he mingles with ghosts. He completely ignored the deaths of his own kind. He's the one who deserves to die the most. Why should someone like him get to live so prosperously in this horror world? Hey. His hypocritical mercy, his complete disregard for us, is precisely his greatest weakness. He probably never imagined we'd have the guts to sell his secret to the ghosts.
The 3 female players exchanged glances, as if seeing in each other's eyes the miserable fate awaiting Yin Cheng. Cruel smiles curled at the corners of their mouths.
Yin Cheng didn't know that the 3 female players whose lives he had saved actually harbored such deep hatred for him in their hearts. Of course, even if he knew, it wouldn't stir any emotion in him. The dead aren't worth getting angry over. The treacherous nature of human hearts was something Yin Cheng was already used to.
In the supply room, after whispering among themselves for a long time, the 3 women finally gritted their teeth and decided to sell Yin Cheng and Lena's secret to that Director He. They planned to use this as leverage to extract sufficient benefits from Director He, and a guarantee of safe return to the human world. It's rather laughable to say it out loud. Yin Cheng protected them, gave them a chance to choose life. Not only did he not receive gratitude, it only made them resent him more deeply. And envy him. They'd rather choose to trust a ghost, and place their hope for survival on a ghost. Instead of staying quiet and lying low to return to the human world, Yin Cheng gave them the chance to stay silent and survive. Unfortunately, they didn't cherish it. Smack. Boom. In the director's office, a series of loud noises kept coming out, causing the werewolf doctor leading the way to twitch the corner of his eye fiercely.
You'd better make sure this so-called information is extremely valuable. Valuable enough to appease Director His anger. Otherwise, now, come on.
The werewolf doctor didn't continue, but the killing intent he radiated made the 3 women tremble uncontrollably. Knock knock knock.
Who is it?
Inside the office, He's angry voice rang out.
It's me, Director. I have crucial information to report to you.
The werewolf doctor hurriedly said.
Information?
He's tone carried a hint of confusion.
Come in and speak.
Yes.
The werewolf led 3 human players filing in one after another. Inside the office, it was a complete mess. He, who usually appeared meticulous, even had cracks on his glasses.
Speak, what information?
He sat on a chair missing half a leg, gazing coldly at the group. Speak. What information? His tone was icy, filled with killing intent. He had repeatedly pulled strings, trying to deal with the stitched monster Ralph, but with no success at all. He was on the verge of losing control. Otherwise, he probably would have asked what the werewolf doctor bringing humans in meant. But now, he wasn't in the mood.
You all, tell us what you know. Speak up.
Seeing this, the werewolf doctor hurriedly urged.
Director you can have our information, but we need some conditions in exchange, because this secret involves an entity at the level of a bloody ghost.
Although the three players were terrified, they still had some rationality left. They knew to focus on the key point to pique Heyi's interest. Sure enough, just the words, bloody ghost, caused Heyi's pupils to instantly shrink to pinpoints. A few minutes later, the werewolf doctor licked the blood from his mouth, a look of pleasure in his eyes, and left the office. In the office, reeking of pungent blood.
What a Dr. Yin Cheng is. What a nurse Lena is. You're really great employees under me, aren't you? Here I am, worried and afraid, even ready to take desperate risks, while you're plotting to make a huge profit. Ha ha ha, an arm of a bloody ghost. For an ordinary red ghost, holds unimaginable allure. Let alone a stitched monster like Ralph, damn humans. Thinking they've gained the favor of Countess Rose, they think they can do whatever they want? Heyi felt an indescribable jealousy in his heart, and an unprecedented greed. The arm of a bloody ghost is worth at least hundreds of thousands of ghost coins, even millions. What a beautiful number that is. A number that a money-grubbing ghost simply can't resist. He's been at Third Hospital sneaking around and causing trouble for so long, and barely managed to scrape together less than 1 million ghost coins. Ghost coins are extremely valuable. They don't come in millions or tens of millions easily. For ordinary players, having a few thousand is already a fortune, but that weak human who got lucky, just because of Countess Rose's favor, might casually earn a huge sum of ghost coins. This, for Heyi, a money-grubbing ghost, how could he accept it? The greatest pain for a money-grubbing ghost is having a huge business opportunity right before his eyes, yet he seems to have no chance to get involved. Yin Cheng was able to survive the series of certain death tasks he issued, and live. Of course, Heyi wasn't a fool either. Naturally, he could see that Yin Cheng wasn't so simple. No matter how much he wanted to kill Yin Cheng, because of Countess Rose's favor, on the surface, he didn't dare to easily do anything to Yin Cheng.
But now,
Heyi's attitude toward Yin Cheng has completely changed. A deal worth 1 million ghost coins. How could he just let it slip through his fingers? At least until he's swallowed up this huge deal, not only will he not think of killing Yin Cheng, he'll actually have to treat Yin Cheng like an honored guest. After all, with the Rose Count, only Yin Cheng can get a word in. Even if Heyi has a huge amount of capital, without someone to make the connection, he can only sit there twiddling his thumbs. Thinking of this, a wave of frustration rose in his heart. Since when does a top-tier vengeful ghost like him need to beg a weak human for help? Just you wait. Once this deal is done, you're a dead man.
A sinister smile appeared on Heyi's gloomy face. He picked up a strand of blood from the corner of the table and licked it with relish. Outside the consulting room of the special physician, Yin Cheng, the line of ghost patients was still as long as a dragon. First, there was the precedent of the Rose Count. Then, there were the ghosts who, after getting a prescription from Yin Cheng, couldn't wait to buy the medicine and try it right here in the Third Hospital. Without a doubt, the medicine worked like a charm. Because of this, the ghost patients who were still somewhat skeptical finally put their minds at ease. They all switched over to join the long line outside special physician Yin Cheng's door. Some of the more affluent ghosts even started spending ghost coins to buy the spots from those who were ahead of them in line. Thus, Physician Yin's reputation was firmly established throughout the Third Hospital. In contrast, outside the other physicians' consulting rooms, it was completely empty. Not a soul in sight. The green-skinned alchemist, the plague doctor, and the other physicians stood gritting their teeth at their doors. Their displeasure was written all over their faces. Taking away someone's livelihood, cutting off their source of income, it's like killing their parents. No one could tolerate this situation. Right now, they wanted Yin Cheng dead even more than Heyi did.
Director. You're finally here. Think of something, quick. If this goes on, we physicians won't have anything left to do.
The moment Heyi appeared at the corner of the corridor, the plague doctor was the first to dart to his side. He lowered his voice and complained. The other physicians also looked at him with shared misery. However, they would never have imagined.
If you're incompetent, who else can you blame? The patients trust Physician Yin. They don't choose you. Shouldn't you be looking at your own problems?
Heyi snorted coldly. Putting on an act of exasperation, he scolded them. The plague doctor and the other physicians, listen to that. Is that even human speech? If they didn't know Heyi's character, they might have really thought he was some selfless, righteous guy. But we're all old foxes here. What's with the innocent act? Who was it that suggested sending the Rose Count to that human physician to kill him with a borrowed knife? Now you're acting all different. Are you on the wrong meds? After his scolding, Heyi ignored them and walked straight toward Yin Cheng's consulting room. He left the baffled physicians behind, question marks practically floating above their heads. Knock, knock, knock. Yincheng, who was taking the pulse of a drowned ghost patient, heard the knocking. A faint smile touched his lips.
The fish has taken the bait.
Outside, Yi didn't wait for Yincheng's response. Nor did he care if Yincheng was with a patient. He pushed the door open and barged right in. Yincheng put on an annoyed face, pretending to be disturbed. But inwardly, he was sneering.
The more anxious he is, the more it shows his greedy heart is completely under my control. Director He. You're a doctor yourself. You should know that interrupting a doctor's consultation is extremely rude, don't you?
Yincheng spoke with a cold expression. With Lena right behind him, he wasn't the least bit intimidated.
My apologies. That was presumptuous of me. However, Dr. Yin, one must be careful when choosing friends. Your 3 human companions just shared a little secret with me.
Before he could finish, Yincheng's face instantly turned ashen. Behind him, Lena also assumed a posture brimming with killing intent, gnashing her teeth.
This patient, please step outside for a moment. I have some private matters to discuss with Dr. Yin.
The drowned ghost subtly shot Yincheng a look. The meaning was clear, need help.
Go on out, your condition isn't serious. You can come back in after Director He and I finish talking.
Seeing this, the drowned ghost had no choice but to leave the consultation room. The moment the drowned ghost left, He produced an ancient-looking copper coin from his palm. A strange, foul odor immediately filled the air.
What's the meaning of this, Director He?
Yincheng's face was cold as he unceremoniously covered his nose and mouth. He showed He no face at all.
A little trick. The stench of money blocks prying eyes. For a deal this big, it's best if others don't overhear, don't you think?
Director He, why don't you speak plainly? Beating around the bush is pointless.
I like straightforward humans like you. Those 3 humans who betrayed their friend, I've already taken care of them. Consider it a little bonus before I invest in your venture. Now, why don't we have a proper talk about business?
He also laid his cards on the table, not hiding his desire to get a piece of the pie.
Director He, you've sat in that number 2 seat at 3rd Hospital for so many years. Surely you know that some things aren't for just anyone to stick their nose into.
Fair point. The connection to Countess Rose is something you, Dr. Yin, worked hard to establish. I admit I don't have that capability. However,
he toyed with the copper coin in his hand. A smile gradually spread across his face. Cooperating with Countess Rose, just how much of the profit do you think you'll get?
You're a new player. Lena is just a lowly nurse at 3rd Hospital. How many ghost coins do you have between you? Enough to buy that bloody specter's arm, worth nearly 1 million ghost coins, a rare item that's practically priceless? Think about it. I'm not your enemy. I just want to make a deal with you, a mutually beneficial deal.
With things laid out this clearly, the expressions on Yincheng and Lena's faces softened a little. It seemed they thought He had a point.
Director He, let's talk about this so-called mutually beneficial deal of yours.
After a long silence, Yincheng was the first to speak.
He sneered inwardly. The youngsters really can't hold their composure. The financial power of our big client, Mr. Ralph, is highly regarded by the 3rd Hospital. You've managed to hitch a ride on Count Rose's big ship, but you're just middlemen, aren't you, acting as the go-betweens, and then getting some scraps thrown your way by Count Rose?
Yincheng and Lena remained silent. He took their silence as agreement. The smile on his face grew even brighter.
Such a great opportunity, why let Count Rose take the lion's share? Don't tell me you've never thought about keeping more of the profit for yourselves.
He's voice seemed to possess a bewitching power. The copper coin in his hand also emitted a faint, hazy glow. A strange power began to stir the hearts of Yincheng and Lena, as if trying to awaken the endless greed within them. Unfortunately, Lena was a Scarlet Tier Wraith, and Elise Xiang with a special status at that. He's little trick was utterly useless in front of her. Outside the consultation room of the specially appointed physician, Yincheng, time ticked by. Ever since the drowned ghost left the consultation room until now, the long line of patients was beginning to show signs of unrest. The drowned ghost, acting like a ringleader, stood guard right in front of the consultation room door. His wet hair hung limply, and his face grew increasingly anxious and impatient. It had already been half an hour since he entered the consultation room. They had tried all sorts of methods to eavesdrop or force the consultation room door open, but without exception, they all failed. He, a peak-level wraith, was quite capable. These ghosts, most of whom were mere specters or malevolent spirits, naturally couldn't easily break his defenses. To ordinary humans, any ghost is deadly enough. Specters, malevolent spirits, and those above them aren't much different. But among ghosts themselves, the gap in hierarchy is not so easily bridged. In some ways, the world of horrors and the human world share similarities. In the human world, the vast majority of people are just ordinary folks. True power and wealth are always held by a select few. In the world of horrors, the vast majority of ghosts are low-ranking specters or malevolent spirits. True high-ranking ghosts, like Count Rose, or the likes of the stitched monster Ralph, are few and far between, compared to the massive ghost population. Therefore, to force He not to harm Physician Yin, they had no choice but to unite and cause a big enough commotion at the third hospital to intimidate him. After all, as a hospital with a decent reputation in the world of horrors, its image is very important to it. Once things escalate, and the shareholders behind the third hospital show up, even he wouldn't be able to handle the consequences.
3 minutes left. If that consultation room door doesn't open, brothers, let's raise hell.
The drowned ghost was acting very much like a leader now. Raising his arm, he rallied the countless ghosts behind him, who roared in unison.
Damn it. We finally see hope for curing our chronic illnesses. If that bastard he dares to lay a finger on Dr. Yin, we'll make him regret it. Am I right, guys?
You're damn right. Let's go teach that bastard he a lesson. Let's go.
The ghost's enthusiasm had been completely riled up. The crowd was furious. For anything else, they would never get this worked up. This excited. But when it's about their own chronic illnesses and the chance for a cure, this reaction is hardly surprising. This scene made the doctors in the nearby consultation rooms tremble with fear. They huddled inside, not daring to intervene. Even the brave and burly tiger-headed ghost security guard had long since slipped away somewhere. Click. The sound. As all the ghosts were counting down the time, ready to riot, the door to the consultation room opened. To the astonishment of the ghosts, He and Dr. Yin walked out, chatting and laughing.
Take care, Director He. I have many patients to see, so I won't see you out.
Don't mind me, just focus on your work. But remember, before tonight, make sure to contact that Mr. Ralph. I'll handle things on my end.
A shrewd glint flashed in He's eyes. He was already scheming.
No problem. I hope our cooperation goes smoothly. Director He.
Smooth cooperation.
A trace of cunning flashed deep in He's eyes, yet his smile remained unchanged. After He left, outside the consultation room, the previously restless ghosts instantly fell silent. Yin Cheng was fine. So they had no reason to cause trouble anymore. The third hospital returned to its orderly state.
Dr. Yin, did that guy give you a hard time?
The drowned ghost entered the consultation room and couldn't help but ask.
I'm fine. No need to worry.
Yin Cheng smiled and shook his head.
That's good, but still, Dr. Yin, you should be careful. Director He is not someone to be trifled with.
Thanks for the warning.
In the following time, using the power of his insightful eye, Yin Cheng saw patients at a speed unimaginable to the other ghost doctors. He worked frantically. So much so that the ghost doctors could only watch, grinding their teeth, as the door to the special consultant's room remained out of reach. Their bitter tears had no one to share them with. Time passed quietly. The horror world has no distinction between day and night. The sky is forever gloomy and terrifying. Dark clouds loom like twisted, grimacing faces, exuding a suffocating aura. Inside the consultation room, after seeing off his last patient for the day, Yin Cheng stretched. He gently pulled Lena close, enjoying this rare moment of one man and two ghosts. The ghoul isn't very bright. It doesn't understand anything. It just follows him around like a bodyguard. So naturally, it's taken for granted and ignored. Yin Cheng prides himself on having already embarked on the path to becoming a Death Knight. Having one more clueless ghoul watching from the side is already irrelevant. After all, it's not time for the class change quest yet, right?
As for Ralph, do you need me to do a little maneuvering?
On her pale, bloodless face, a faint blush flashed. Still somewhat unaccustomed, she hurriedly spoke up, trying to change the subject.
No need. The more we do, the easier it is to leave clues. Regarding Ralph, from start to finish, we never told him about the bloody ghost's arm. When the time comes, if Ralph discovers he was deceived by He, his anger will only be able to be vented on He. It has nothing to do with us, right? Speaking of which, the smile on Yin Cheng's face grew even brighter. If He, before dying, insists on dragging us down with him, trying to go down together, actually, for us, it wouldn't bring any harm at all. On the contrary, it would bring more benefits.
Benefits? How can that bring benefits?
The bloody ghost's corpse belongs to Rose Countess's shady best friend, the master of the corpse mound, Jiang Ling. If Ralph genuinely wants it, we can just go with the flow. Let him go negotiate with her. After all, Ralph is a big client. He also has powerful bloody ghosts backing him. He'd definitely be willing to pay a high price for it. We, in the middle, can play a small role in connecting them. That could also earn us favor from this big client and those behind him, right?
Yin Cheng sees things very clearly.
Since Jiang Ling proactively mentioned the existence of the bloody ghost's corpse, that means the corpse's value to her personally isn't that great. Otherwise, this kind of priceless treasure, you're not just afraid of thieves stealing it, but also of them coveting it, right?
So, after setting up He, if Ralph still wants to get a bloody ghost's arm, Yin Cheng can discuss it with Rose Countess's best friend. Go with the flow and owe Ralph a favor. Why not do it? The world of horror isn't just about fighting and killing. It's also about social connections. Holding something as cool as a natural air conditioner, soft and comfortable, the class change book. Yin Cheng felt an unprecedented sense of wonder. He gently rested his head on the class change book's shoulder, enjoying this rare moment of peace. I wonder if it's because he was turned into a vampire, the special aura emitted by ghosts, which is highly corrosive to living humans, seems to have little effect on him now. Exhausted from a long day, Yin Cheng embraced the class change book and fell into a peaceful sleep. Seeing this, Lena seemed to think of something. A faint smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. She gently wrapped her arms around Yin Cheng's head. Her movements were extremely gentle. Such a scene, if it were to spread to the real world, would probably be seen as something miraculous. Yin Cheng would also become a living Ning-Kachin. He might become a milestone figure forever remembered in people's hearts. The horror game has brought too much death to the world, too much pain and despair. The terror of ghosts, their bizarre and formidable power, and their cruel, chaotic methods, have left an all too brutal impression on humanity. He didn't know how long he'd slept. Yin Cheng felt a slight numbness in his legs. When he opened his eyes, the first thing that came into view was Lena's enchanting, beautiful face. Time. The slumbering ancient dragon seemed to have woken up on the wrong side of the bed. It immediately performed an angry dragon's roll. The two long, plump serpents had never experienced such commotion. They trembled violently on the spot. Then they shrank back, not daring to move. Dragons might fill the air. Dragon's breath, scorching hot. The temperature in the consultation room began to rise rapidly. A somewhat muffled and rather awkward sound emerged from Yin Cheng's stomach, instantly breaking the tense dragon-serpent standoff.
Yin Cheng, you must be hungry. You haven't eaten all day. I'll go get you something to eat right now.
Whoosh. Carrying a cold, fragrant breeze, she drifted away. He patted his stomach helplessly.
He had no choice but to feed himself first.
A few minutes later, Lena walked in carrying a large plate of wheat bread, along with a small cup of milk.
Sorry. There isn't much food for humans in the horror world. This is all the third hospital has.
It's fine. Having something to eat is already good enough. Compared to other players, I don't know how much luckier I am. Yin Cheng wasn't picky. He grabbed the coarse wheat bread and stuffed it into his mouth. 1. 2. Yin Cheng's movements grew faster and faster. Wolfing it down. His eyes even began to take on a reddish hue.
Something's wrong. This is...
Lena quickly noticed Yin Cheng's abnormality.
The bread she brought for Yin Cheng was more than enough for one adult, or even one more, to be completely full. But looking at Yin Cheng's state, one after another, he seemed to be getting more frantic the more he ate. Could it be?
Lena's eyes flickered. As she thought of something, she hurriedly grabbed Yin Cheng. Yin Cheng frantically chewed the food in his mouth, making incoherent noises. His pupils had turned completely crimson. He's awakened. He actually really awakened. This speed is a bit too fast. A bit too sudden. Lena was shocked by Yin Cheng's talent. Her face was full of a stunned expression. Her identity as a death angel of the inner realm allowed her to know much unusual information. The embrace transformation of a vampire was not as simple as creating servant vampires, or easy. Those who have received the embrace often go through a long period of settling, fusion, and may even experience death before successfully transforming into a true vampire. At the same time, the transformed one will also awaken their unique bloodline talent ability.
Grr.
Sensing something was wrong, the anxious ghoul let out a frantic roar.
Yin Cheng was his only friend. He didn't want anything to happen to Yin Cheng.
Don't worry, he's fine. He's just undergoing a bloodline awakening.
Lena looked at the ghoul, who was so anxious it was hopping up and down, and said helplessly, but it was no use. The ghoul's intelligence was limited. It had taken Yin Cheng a great deal of effort just to make it understand a few things. Seeing this, Lena could only pout helplessly. Ghostly energy spread out, instantly pinning the ghoul in place.
Water. I need water. Give me water.
Right now, Yin Cheng felt like his whole body was about to ascend to heaven. Every blood vessel, every drop of blood, every tiny blood molecule in his body seemed to have gained a life of its own, chaotically rushing around inside him. His heart, too, was like a high-powered engine, thump-thumping non-stop. It beat so fast, with such a heavy sound, that it seemed to make the ornaments in the room resonate and tremble.
Water.
Yin Cheng murmured unconsciously. The positions of his two original canine teeth were replaced by two sharp, elongated fangs.
Seeing this, Lena of course understood. What Yin Cheng needed wasn't water at all, but blood.
Moreover, for the first awakening, the higher the quality of the blood consumed, the better. In that case, the possibility of a newborn vampire awakening with a rare bloodline ability would increase significantly.
What should I do? Where am I supposed to find suitable blood right now?
After recalling the details of a vampire's awakening, Lena immediately began to panic.
If it were allowed, she wouldn't mind donating blood to Yin Cheng. The problem is, whether it's her outer form as a wraith or her inner form as the Angel of Death, both belong to the ghost lineage. Lena simply doesn't have blood. She's willing but unable. Wait. The Rose Countess. She would definitely have a way.
Seeing Yin Cheng looking more and more distressed, Lena's eyes darted around, and she thought of the culprit, the Rose Countess. Just as she was about to use the consultation room's phone to contact her, an extremely bizarre, sinister, and evil aura instantly filled every corner of the consultation room. Lena's inner form, the Angel of Death, was almost automatically triggered like a stress response the moment that aura appeared. Gray wings spread, her deep pupils also turned ashen white, and an aura of death began to permeate the air. Fortunately, she still maintained her rationality. Following the source of the aura, she looked and was shocked to discover, at some unknown time, a drop of dark red blood had appeared in the palm of Yin Cheng's hand. The source of all the strange and unsettling aura was precisely that tiny drop of blood. With just a glance, Lena felt as if something twisted and grotesque within the blood drop was struggling and laughing maniacally, trying to break free. Yin Cheng's crimson eyes were fixed intently on the dark red blood drop in his palm. The surging vampire power around him and the bone-chilling aura of the dead were merging frantically in a bizarre manner. The bloodline power that had been rampaging inside his body, upon touching the blood drop, was like a stream finding its home, completely absorbed into it. Lena's unfurled gray angel of death wings trembled slightly. She could clearly sense that the power contained within that drop of blood was enough to easily tear apart a peak-level wraith. Even ghosts of the bloodcloth level would fall into a state of uncontrolled soul loss upon contact. Yet this terrifying power is incredibly docile towards Yin Cheng. Like a tamed beast, it only swirls around him, forming faint black demonic patterns.
Congratulations, player Yin Cheng. Talent, Deadly Seduction, has achieved Ultimate Evolution, unlocking Exclusive Authority, Undead Dominion. Congratulations, player Yin Cheng. Pure Vampire Bloodline and Undead Authority have fused, unlocking Unique Profession, Undead Healing God.
Undead Healing God. Using healing arts to ferry departed souls. Using authority to suppress evil spirits. Possesses absolute dominance over all undead and vampire-type ghosts.
Healing effects on non-human creatures amplified by 300%. Can obtain faith power by healing departed souls, strengthening one's own domain.
System notifications ring out consecutively. Yin Cheng slowly clenches his fist, that indescribable drop of blood merges into his veins. The restless heat from his bloodline awakening instantly dissipates, replaced by an unprecedented sensitivity to the aura of departed souls around him. He can even clearly hear, throughout the entire third hospital, the souls victimized by He Yi, wailing miserably and helplessly.
Time's about right.
Yin Cheng looks up towards the window. The bloody moonlight within the dark clouds falls precisely on the midnight mark. A cold smile curls at the corner of his mouth.
He should be arriving.
Third floor of the underground morgue, already laid with an inescapable trap by Yin Cheng. He Yi, clutching the million ghost coins he drained from the hospital, with several malevolent ghost servants he bribed. His eyes filled with greedy red light, steps into this silent land. He thinks he's about to obtain the arm of a bloodcloth malevolent ghost and ascend to greatness.
Yin Cheng. Where's the item?
He Yi stares intently at the black case beside Yin Cheng. As ghost energy surges, he's already prepared to double-cross. Yin Cheng calmly raises his hand. The case slowly opens. Inside is clearly the bloodcloth malevolent ghost arm provided by Jiangling. Intense corpse energy and blood aura instantly spread, making He Yi's breathing become rapid.
Director He, did you bring enough money? The value of this thing. You should understand better than I do.
The money. Of course I brought it.
He Yi sneers viciously. His ghost blade suddenly unsheathes. The aura of a peak-level malevolent ghost erupts unreservedly around him.
However, this thing and your life will both belong to me today.
Several malevolent ghost servants pounce simultaneously, but just as their ghost energy is about to touch Yin Cheng, the black demonic patterns around Yin Cheng suddenly glow. The authority of undead dominion erupts violently.
In the name of the undead healing god. Command.
The icy voice falls. The pouncing malevolent ghost servants instantly freeze in place, the ferocity in their eyes replaced by extreme fear. The ghost energy within them surges uncontrollably. Their soul essence, under Yin Cheng's authority, begins to crumble inch by inch.
Impossible. How do you have power to control souls?
He Yi's face turns pale, his eyes filled with disbelief and horror. At this moment, two terrifying presences descend simultaneously. Rose Countess' crimson domain spreads out, completely sealing the entire morgue. Jiangling's bright yellow eyes coldly stare at He Yi. The pressure from the corpse tomb master instantly makes He Yi collapse. He lacks even the strength to raise his hand. What makes He Yi despair even more is that the big client he wanted to recruit, Ralph, also emerges from the shadows. The patchwork monster's body radiates furious energy.
He Yi, you used my name to steal and sell corpses from the third hospital and even dared to trick me with a fake blood-clothed arm. You've truly grown tired of living.
Ralph's voice grated like grinding stones. Each word made He Yi's ghostly form tremble. Yin Cheng slowly walked up to He Yi. His insightful eyes saw through all his crimes and he spoke, word by word.
You imprisoned the director and drained his essence to try to break into the blood-clothed realm. You slaughtered dozens of groups of human players and sold their corpses for profit. You set up a teleportation array inside a gluttonous ghost's stomach and kept ghouls in the morgue to dispose of evidence for you. Countless crimes. What else can you possibly say?
He Yi's face turned ashen. He knew he had lost completely, but the nature of a greedy ghost made him conceive a mad idea in this desperate situation. he suddenly detonated the ghostly energy he had accumulated over years, wanting to ignite the resentment of all the corpses in the morgue and drag the entire third hospital down with him.
Even if I die, I'll drag you all down to hell with me.
But his madness was like child's play before Yin Cheng. Yin Cheng raised his hand and waved. That drop of blood, fused with 2 talents and beyond description, flew out instantly, transforming into a massive black magic array that enveloped the entire morgue. The resentment and ghostly energy he detonated were completely absorbed by the array. The souls of those he had harmed within the array emitted mournful cries of release and were individually liberated by Yin Cheng's medical power.
Your sins shall be repaid with blood.
Yin Cheng's gaze was cold without a shred of mercy. A cold glint flashed from the scalpel in Lena's hand. He couldn't even scream in time. His ghostly form was annihilated inch by the power of the Death Angel. Only a director's token remained representing authority over the third hospital and 1,000,000 ghost coins from his lifetime of hoarding.
Congratulations, player Yin Cheng, for successfully eliminating the mastermind He and rescuing the imprisoned director of the third hospital, completing the chain of hidden missions. Mission rating, perfect.
With He's downfall, the crisis at the third hospital was completely resolved. Yin Cheng found the imprisoned director in the underground chamber and healed his drained essence with the undead medical god's art. The old director looked at this young human with eyes full of gratitude and admiration. Under the witness of all the hospital's ghosts, he personally handed over the position of third hospital director to Yin Cheng. The system's final settlement notification rang out loudly beside Yin Cheng's ear. A massive reward of ghost coins, free attribute points, and permanent residency in the horror world were all credited. The undead domain he unlocked allowed him to control all the souls of the third hospital, making him its true master. In the days that followed, Yin Cheng thoroughly reformed the third hospital. He abolished the cruel rules set by He and established safe mission boundaries for human players, making it no longer a forbidden land. With a 100% mortality rate, he opened free clinics curing countless ghosts plagued by stubborn ailments. The title of undead medical god spread throughout the entire horror world. At the window of the consultation room, Yin Cheng watched the dark clouds gradually dispersing outside. Lena gently wrapped her arms around him from behind and handed him a glass of warm red wine. Ghouls guarded the door. A cooperation contract sent by Rose Earl and Jiang Ling lay quietly on the desk. Yin Cheng gently swirled the wine in his glass, his eyes shining with a firm light. The third hospital was only his starting point. In the vast expanse of the horror world, countless secrets and unknowns awaited him, and he, under the name of undead medical god, would liberate souls with medicine and suppress darkness with authority. In this world filled with fear, he would forge his own legendary path.